Well, hello everybody, George Morgan here, back again. Welcome back to the Creator Series. What a pleasure it is to be back, and once again, in amongst all you beautiful lot here on Saturday night. 6 o'clock has never looked better. We are here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix here for the Creator Series. Joining me in the commentary box, as always, it's Badgerman. Badgerman, how are you, sir? It's been yet a week since we last raced.
Yeah, it's been a week, and it's been a long week. It really felt like something's missing, but finally it is Saturday. Finally we are here, and finally we're going racing again for 3 qualifying sessions and a 100% distance race.
Yeah, can't wait for it, folks. It is going to be extraordinary, and we've got a debut as well, Badgerman. We have got Alex Gillen making his first start here in the Creator Series. How exciting is that? I think there's been a lot of hype around this young man, obviously. He's been on the scene for quite some time. Obviously, himself and Tiamat Marduk have a pretty interesting relationship, certainly when it comes to driving and racing out on circuit. Obviously, just coming off the back of their own little series that they're doing. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in to this group. It has to be said. A lot of expectation on this man, and I personally think he can challenge at the top end.
He certainly can, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, because in that series that you mentioned, I was somewhat involved in one of those races in Mexico, where I was engineering Tiamat Marduk, and I can tell you, Alex does not mess around. He will try to get every, I guess, morally justifiable advantage that he can get his hands on. He won't cheat. He's an honest man in that regard, but I can say he will stretch the rules as far as possible to get ahead, and we'll see. He is very, very quick, though. I can tell you that as well. He is mighty quick.
Well, that's all part of the drama, though, isn't it? That's all part of the flavour that we have here at the Creator Series.
Exactly. But yeah, I would definitely agree with your statement that he will challenge at the very top. I think drivers like Bushy Ant, Tiamat Marduk, obviously. Who else did we have? Rutanius, who's always been near the top. Meraki, our winner from last week. GB68. I think all those drivers just got another opponent that they have to now worry about.
Now, are we expecting the times to be a lot slimmer now? Because obviously we've seen drivers come and go, obviously since the start of the season, more and more looking to step in to try and make a name for themselves. Obviously it's started to become quite contentious now, this group. We're starting to get some bigger names, some names that have been seen on in the world of the F1 game for quite some time, have been establishing whatever it may be, whether it be career modes or online league racing. They're all coming together. It just seems to me that the delta gaps have started to cascade downwards now, Badgerman. We're seeing a lot more competitive action. We've seen quite a bit of wheel-to-wheel racing. We saw it last time when we went to Spa. A few shady incidents as well. We won't go into those, but as well, we're seeing those times come down, and I think that's important. I think that's what the viewers love to see, don't they?
Absolutely, and I think the gaps have come down, but don't forget we still have Dirk Chocolate on the grid, so it's not quite everyone level.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, not me.
Yeah, Dirk, if you're watching, you know it's all good fun. No, but here's the thing. Dirk was miraculously, and I think somehow, he rigged it, but he was in Q3 last week. So, I think he can take that joke. But no, we definitely do get closer and closer. And if you now take into account one thing that we've seen last week that we really only found out after the broadcast, in case you were wondering why Tom Brouwer was a bit off the pace. His setup didn't load. He was running with the default setup.
Really impressed.
If he has a setup like everyone else, he's also on the pace. So that's another guy to really keep a close eye on. Hopefully this time for his home race, he will be able to load the setup, and he'll be right there with everyone else, I think, at the top.
Absolutely, he could well do. And it has to be said that Tom's performance last time out was sensational. Despite not having a setup, he still got himself certainly up into the top end, firing, battling with the likes of Dirk Chocolate as well. We saw an amazing scrap. GB68 was involved in it as well, heading through Laycom. You can actually find that battle on the social media channels for Creator Series. But just before we hit qualifying, folks, for this Dutch Grand Prix race, we have got a guide from the one, the only, Maxime MXM.
MXM and I'm driving in the Creator Series. I'm looking forward to race on Zandvoort this weekend. Of course, it's my home GP, so it's pretty awesome, and I've been there twice. Just the whole atmosphere and everything is incredible. And now, of course, we have a race online with all the amazing creators, and it's gonna be some carnage, that's for sure. I am really enjoying the Creator Series. I love to race with my friends from all around the world and make new friends, and we all share the same passion and make great content together. My plan going into the race is to avoid the carnage, stay out of trouble, and hopefully not DNF myself, because it's a pretty tricky track. Make sure you watch the Creator Series on Saturday, and I'll see you there.
So there we have it, folks. Maxime giving us her insights on this championship and also the circuit of Zandvoort too. A home race for Maxime as well, Badgerman, so it could add a little bit more fire to her performance as well. We know that she's very competitive too. She likes to race and has been seen, certainly in terms of sim racing and esports, she does travel the world, and I'm sure a very feisty competitor. And I can really see her challenging the top end as well, even today. We've seen her in competitive action, wheel to wheel. She can race, she can battle, she can overtake. You'd be a fool to write Maxime off.
Absolutely. She definitely will have a bit more fire than she probably had the last couple of races because, as you mentioned, home race right here. And I think the same is true not just for her and for Tom, who we mentioned earlier as well, but also for Rotanius, because it's his home race as well. So 3 Dutch drivers on the grid, all looking to leave their mark here. We'll see which of those 3 comes out on top in the Dutch Championship, shall we call it. So we now have the Dutch Championship to keep track of today. We have the Inters Championship probably to keep track of during qualifying. And maybe there'll be one or more others that will pop up during the broadcast during qualifying and the race. So a lot of storylines here that are looking to be written further.
Yeah, definitely. We're just getting ourselves sorted, ready for the start of qualifying. Q1 now underway, folks, and already the cars making their way out. And there you can see the grid order that we have tonight. Zafso, Tiamat Marduk, Just Ali, Liam, Shadow, Chocolate, of course that being Dirk Chocolate, Alex Budd, Rutanius, Formula Races, Meraki, who won last time out. Hayden Gullis returns, GB68, his teammate as well. Alex Gillen in the Alfa Romeo, joining Maxime MXM with Mr. Dale. Bushy Ants at Alpine with teammate Tom as well. Alpine coming back fully squadded. Bushy Ants and Tom returning together. Racing Chai comes back. Curbs marks his first appearance in the Creator Series with Impratic in the Red Bull as well. A real hench lineup here, Badgerman, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Alex Gillen gets on. Interesting to see him certainly partnering at Maxime MXM. No teammate partnership between Gillen and Tiamat Marduk. They certainly do not want to be considered teammates at this point.
Yeah, I think they've had that for half a season in their co-op career, and I think, you know, going by the last couple of videos on their channels, I think they've both grown a bit sick of each other. I know this sounds harsh, but no, there's been some animosity there. So I think they're both quite happy that they are now in different teams and battling against each other again, because there was some bad blood there, I think.
Well, there could well have been. I mean, I was actually privy to some of it. Obviously put a post out earlier on to mark the return of a new talent. And Ben Daly was very quick to reply to my tweet saying, not so sure about the word talent. I thought that was a bit of a sticking point, I think, to that particular tweet. What I can tell you, though, folks, is that the intermediate tyres are out and about again, as we always would usually expect. And it tends to be a constant theme when it comes to the Creator Series, and as the cars they make their way to commence their opening laps, Tiamat Marduk being one of them, donning the set of the green tyres, of course, and now making his way through turn 1, making his way through turns 2 and 3 at Hugen Holtzbocht. Tiamat Marduk will cite Zandvoort certainly as an opportunity to get himself back to the top step. Still, we haven't had a 2-time race winner this season.
Yeah, hopefully this time will be the first time, but again, we still have so many drivers that are one way or another capable of a race win, but haven't actually had a race win yet. So there's still Rutanius, as mentioned before. There's GB68 who still hasn't won a race. We now have Alex Gillen on the grid. Tom is definitely capable. Hayden Gullis hasn't won a race yet. There are so many drivers still here that can all win a race. I think it will continue today. I really do.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Apologies to those at home as well who could only hear me through the one ear. I do apologise. Thank you, Jonah Martins and Melanie, for that. Yes, I didn't put it on mono mode. Needs to go onto mono. So yeah, apologies for that. We're back to normal now. Timo Marduk to the top, 114. Immediately taken away by Bushiance to the 114.5. So P1 for Bushiance in the Alpine. And I'm sure there'll be many others that are trickling their way forward. Rutanius goes 5th fastest. Rasin Chai there in 6th. He was in 6th, but GB68 has taken that privilege away from him. Alex Gillen opens up on the intermediate tyres and sets a time that puts him in 8th fastest. Carmen Shadow, 3rd fastest. McLaren currently 2nd and 3rd in this contingent. More and more cars making their way through. Liam goes 10th fastest himself. And Carmen Shadow returning in what looks to be a very strong opening for McLaren, certainly in terms of the Intermediate Tyre Championship. Dirk Chocolate, 11th fastest.
Yeah, it's surprising to see the gap between Tim McMark and Alex Gillen there at over 4 tenths, almost half a second actually. So yeah, I think that's a statement there made by Tim McMark, one of our previous race winners, that he is not here to just mess around and play around. He really wants this, and I feel like he's got some extra motivation as well now with Alex Gillen joining the grid.
Yeah, Hayden Gullis as well, making his way through turn 1, marking his return to the championship. Great to have him back as well. Such a character, obviously well known and very widely seen in the circuit of the F1 game. Obviously, I joined him in the commentators panel, or certainly he was a pundit for the F1 Esports Pro Championship. Not only that, we worked together for the V10R League as well. He's proven to be a very good driver and is streamed regularly on his Twitch channel. Little shaky heading through the middle sector, and a little grin appeared on his face as well as he took it through, but managed to rescue the car. Naturally very precarious when it comes to racing on a dry track, donning in the intermediate tyres. Very easy to lose the car. Once again, Hayden having a big moment heading down the straight before they then venture into the next chicane. Of course, we've still got plenty of time left in Q1. 11 minutes and 40 to go. Very soon the soft tyres, I'm sure, will be donned, and we'll be fighting for position in this immediate Q1 session. Of course, they'll all be wanting to get into Q2. The big question is, though, will Dirk Chocolate pull it off, Badgerman?
Yeah, that is the big question. We ask ourselves that every Saturday. Will Dirk be able to escape Q1 and head into Q2? Looking at the Intermediate Championship, I'm not very hopeful for him right now. He's 3rd slowest of the 16 drivers that have set a lap time. That doesn't bode well. There's 4 drivers to not have set a lap time so far. One of which being Tom in P18, who's about to come across the line. And both of his sector times are actually better than Dirk's. So I think Dirk remains 3rd lowest of those with a lap time. And yeah, it seems tough for Dirk. It seems very tough this time around. Might not be his circuit, to be fair. I think he probably prefers a circuit that's a little less windy, a little less twisty, and a bit more straight lines, which are very few and far between here at Zandvoort. So might be not his weekend and not his day today.
No, it might not be. Tom making his way through the first sector, also out on the intermediate tyres, currently sits towards P13, so in the bottom 10. Naturally, will want to get himself back up into the top end as well. Currently seeing Bushy Ants also out on an outlap, this time though on the soft tyres too. 10 minutes now to go here in the Creator Series. Opening session of qualifying here at Zandvoort, Dutch Grand Prix. Of course, home to that of Maxime MXM, and we just saw talking about the importance of this track. Not only that, you know, her abilities this season, obviously been fighting it out with the very best in the world when it comes to F1 content creation. And we'll look forward to seeing how they get on as well. Of course, we've seen plenty of female talents as well getting involved as well. As you can see, Melanie J&D in the live chat as well has been a prominent figure as part of the Creator Series. We also had Just Hun as well. Great to have them involved in this championship too. And hopefully there'll be many more appearances as well. But it's what league racing's all about, isn't it, Badgerman? Inclusivity. That's exactly what we need here.
Absolutely. It's really, really wonderful to see that we have such a diverse, such a, varied grid. We have men, women, we have, young and old. We have everything here, and then some. It's absolutely wonderful to see, and they all come together. And I think this is the power that sim racing as an extension of real racing has, is that it can bring people together.
Certainly can. Bushy Ants now on a hot lap, and Mr. Dale, who in recent times has really struggled in race trim. Remember crashing out in lap 4 last time, as we now watch Bushy Ants make his way down towards the chicane. Of course, has gone purple in the first and second sector, a massive half a second difference. Obviously, Curbs has now made his way up into second fastest, but it might not be for long. Bushy Ants getting quicker as he heads through the final part of this track. Now, down through towards the long straight, round in the bank curves here at Zandvoort. Down the straight, hugs the inside with DRS open. Bushy Ants with a full purple lap, a 111.313. In fact, he wasn't perfect in that final sector, but the two first purple sectors were enough in order to get him back to the top. And now he's very nearly 7.5 tenths of a second faster than Mr. Dale. A superb lap from Bushy Ants.
Yep, here comes Alex Gillen, and he's going to challenge him, and it's really close. Purple middle and final sector by Alex Gillen, but the first sector was just a little bit out of reach. Lost 0.06 of a second there, and then could not make up that time in the remaining 2 sectors. But P2 from Alex Gillen seems like he gets on these softs a lot better than he did on the intermediates. As meanwhile, Formula Racers is up to P3. He's been impressing more and more over the last couple of weeks. I think 2 weeks ago when he made his debut here, it was an okay debut. It wasn't anything flashy, but I remember last week he's been mixing it up with the top drivers. And this 112 flat from Formula Racers is certainly a statement. As Rutanius, his teammate, goes P1 with an 11.2.
Yeah, great lap from Rutanius, 111.256. Bushy Ants now in the pits. Alex Gillen, just look at that, the top 3, all within the same 1/10 of a second. Now that's the type of live timing we've been hoping to see all season long. For the first time, I think, as well.
Here comes another one. Here comes another one. Just when Ale is coming through the final corner, and he might potentially make this a P1 as well, and he does. Not a single purple sector, by the way, from him. His first purple sector that he had was taken away by GB68. The middle sector, he got beaten by Rutanius, and in the final sector, he's actually tied. It is technically purple, I would say. He's actually tied with just... no, tied with himself? What am I talking about? Yeah, that's the problem when you have to... No, he's actually behind Tom in the final sector. Tom, who hasn't had a proper lap, but it shows to me at least that his final sector was very good. Although I don't trust my own telemetry at this point. I think it's trying to mess with me.
Well, these things do happen. The wonders of technology. GB68 has gone 4th fastest as well. Hayden Gullis was 10th. He's now 11th. Infratic with an improved performance too, as Zafso goes 2nd fastest. So 111.187 puts the Silver Arrows on the front row positions. Obviously, we're not deciding the front row at this point. This is Q1 after all. What I can tell you, folks, is that we have 5 cars in the drop zone. Rasin Chai, who has been competitive previously. Tom might not even get out of Q1 at this point. Liam in 18th. Dirk Chocolate, well, he's been there before. Alex Budd as well in P22. You'd imagine now with 5 minutes to go, there's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of tension on those drivers in the bottom 5 now, Badgerman.
Absolutely, and they're looking at this thinking, okay, I really have to deliver now. It's not just the bottom 5, though. Look at the lap times. I mean, I would say once you get to Alex Gillen in P6, that's guaranteed safe, in my opinion. That 11.3 or better is guaranteed safe. But Formula Racers, 12 flat. Mr. Dale, 12 flat. Carbon Shadow, 12-1. If those drivers can slightly improve, all of a sudden, you know, there are problems for everyone else who's in that group as well. Curbs, 12-3. Infratic 12.6, Hayden Gullis 12.6, Maxime 12.8. And we still have 7 drivers that haven't set a lap time on soft tires yet. Well, Razin has, but I think he messed up. Ah, yeah, he invalidated that time, so he is still down in P18. That's still an inter-time from him. As who just crossed the line? That would be Tom up to P8 and Razin up to P7. They... Ooh, 11.5 is tricky. I think that should be safe, though. They're slotting in that perfect spot where you think, yeah, this should be enough. So I think the top 8 might now be safe through with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the session.
Well, Maxime MXM currently in the drop zone, as is TMF Marduk. They won't want to stay there. Mr. Dale, who's now making his way through the final sector now as we come into the closing minutes here in Q1, and he's gaining time in the first and second sector, a little bit squirrely heading through the final corner, but back to the floor with the pedal now as he sets himself down through towards the long straight. Can he improve? 8th fastest now for Mr. Dale. That's not a bad lap at all, and now he can enjoy the splendor that is the top 10. Many other cars, though, looking to improve. Maxime MXM now out on a lap with only minutes to spare, but this track is going to be immensely busy now, so traffic could be the issue here.
Certainly could. You have to be aware of that. It might very well happen that you do get blocked potentially in some way, shape, or form. And you have to hope that the traffic is just right. It is a rather short circuit at only 4.2 kilometers. So not much space for each car. You have to make sure that you have a nice little bubble there for you to not get held up by anyone.
No, absolutely right. TMF Marduk now out on a lap here. Now 2 minutes and 30. Still to go. Dirk Chocolate currently propping the classification up. 20th place. And surely he can't stay there for long. He's got to put the work in. Merricky as well. Big shocker there as well, Badgerman. Currently sits 19th.
Yeah, meanwhile, Maxime MXM is about to finish a lap. And she's looking to improve right there. I think 3.5 tenths gained in the first 2 sectors. That does not include the final sector, which she is coming through now. Let's see where she ends up. It is a 12.6. It's P15. She puts herself on the bubble, but with Infratic, Hayden Gullis, and Tiamat Marduk, and Meraki, and Dirk behind her, I think it's not looking too great. Dirk already looking to improve by 3.5 seconds to his intermediate lap. Very strong from Dirk there. That middle sector was pretty good. Lost less than 2 tenths to Purple. Lost 2 tenths in the first sector. This might very well end up being a 111.5 or 0.6 when he crosses the line. That we have a yellow flag. I think that's just for a car going slowly, and it is. 11.5 beats both Razin and Dale, and I'm going to make a call here. I'm going to say Dirk is safe into Q2. I can't believe that I was going to say this today, but there it is. I'd say Dirk is safe.
Well, incredible scenes indeed. TMF Marduk also going 12th fastest and removes himself from the drop zone. That pushes Maxime now into 17th. Alex Budd on the cusp of losing out as well. Currently sits in the middle sector trying to improve. We know he's quick. Infratic as well further down, who is showing signs of pace, is also trying to find his way out of the bottom end too. So plenty of movers and shakers here with just a mere 50 seconds left here in Q1. What are we going to see? Merricky as well at the back. Hayden Gullis goes 12th fastest. That moves Curbs into the drop zone now as Maxime crosses the line. No improvements at all from P18. Infratic,
Here comes
who's
Curbs.
now making his way through. Curbs also coming across the line shortly too. Curbs managing to go 15th fastest. And we've got more action now with Infratic also looking to get himself out of the drop zone too. Not able to though. Stays in 19th fastest.
He might have another lap, though. He does have plenty of battery charge at around 70%, so he might have just enough for another run, for another bite at the apple, and he might just get himself out of there. Meraki going to come across the line now. How much improvement? 11.5. P11 pushes down Curbs again. Formula Racers now on the bubble, not being able to improve. He has retired already. As I predicted a bit early, 12-0, I didn't think he was going to be safe. He decided to retire. That might see him exit early. Alex Budd is coming around as well. Maxime is on another lap. She's barely improving, though. 0.04 of a second only. She's going to be the next one to cross the line. We still have Alex Gillen out there. Don't know what he's doing. He's pretty much safe at this point. He's just doing it for the pants, I guess. Maxime in the pits. She is out. Curbs coming through the final corner. Does he have another run? Nope, into the pits. Curbs is out as well. Infratic coming across the line. Is it enough? 11-7 puts him P13th and now pushes Formula Racers out and Tiamat Marduk on the bubble.
Yeah, Tiamat Marduk at serious risk, and Carbon Shadow still out and about. Is he going to find some major improvements, because he's working hard to stay in? Yes,
Alex Blood he has invalidated, so he is out of this. That would have been a very good lap from him, I think, but he has invalidated in the middle sector. Very, very unfortunate. Here comes Carbon Shadow. No, into the pits.
He's failed.
Marduk by the skin of his teeth into Q2. We always have some big name in P15 and Q1, and usually in P10 and Q2 as well. Last week it was Tom both times. If we disregard the disqualification, I think for Just One Ali, that was, yeah, a bit weird. But my goodness, I mean, I told you 112 flat wasn't going to be safe. I called it.
You were spot on. And it has to be said as well, credit to GB68, fastest in the first sector. We've had different drivers in different sectors certainly setting the pace. GB68 fastest in the first sector, Rutanius second sector, Just One Ali in sector 3 alone, but still able to get the fastest lap. Credit to Tiamat Marduk on achieving what he did. Obviously as well, credit to Dirk Chocolate breaking the trend that we so often see from him, and remains 7th fastest, but Just One Ali is in P1. Zafso second, Rutanius in third, Bushy Ants in fourth, GB68 in fifth. Let's go down into our eliminations. You can see the Formula Racers is out as well. Curbs is out, Carbon Shadow, also Alex Bird, and Maxime MXM eliminated at her own track as well. Big shame for her, but no doubt she might bounce back in the race. We've seen it time and time again here, Badgerman. The safety car does make an appearance. It's just fact here at the Creator Series.
It certainly does, and not just that. We have been told by a certain Dirk Chocolate that this race might not just feature potential safety cars. That obviously he has no control over, other than if he decides to crash. But don't think he would do that. But no, it will also potentially feature a little bit of weather, and I don't think any of the drivers are certainly out of it yet. You got to make the right choices in the race, and I think if we do get some rain, which at this point I can not guarantee, I cannot confirm or deny if we will, but if we do, there's another spanner that's being thrown in the works of everyone, and we'll see who will be the driver to be most capable of getting rid of that spanner.
Well, let's find out, folks. We'll head across now over to Q2. Already Zafso, the first to leave, and very shortly will make his way out onto the circuits. There we go. Q2 firmly underway. 40 minutes and 20 to go. And the Silver Arrows, after setting the second fastest lap in our last session, is the first car out on track. And just a stern reminder as to who's certainly going to be taking to the circuit here in this session. Zafso, Tiamat Marduk, Just One Ali, Liam, Dirk Chocolate, Rutanius, Meraki, after managing to get himself off the bottom as well. Got to give credit to Dirk Chocolate here after that first session. Very rarely do we find him pull off clutch performances, but able to pull it off on this occasion, managing to get himself off the bottom in Q1. And that is a pressure cooker environment right there, Badgerman.
Certainly is, and for Dirk to be that resilient under that pressure of, you know, having potentially another Q1 exit as he's had multiple so far this season, and then being able to pull that off, avert that danger, very, very strong indeed. Not just that, he was P7 in Q1, so he definitely, I think, has the pace to potentially make his way into Q3. If he can bring that lap up again, if he can get that same kind of pace out of the car, out of the tires, out of everything again, then yeah, I don't see how he's not going to end up in Q3.
Well, I can tell you this, there's already some pain heading to Formula Racers' way. Certainly Jaden, unfortunately, is suffering after finishing P16 in our first qualifying session, so commiserations to you, Formula Races. Splay Blowfish is on your tail. So big shame. The moderators are on his case. But there we go.
Yeah.
Watching now, Meriki, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, race winner from Spa last time out. And one of the favourites you would imagine to score yet another result. Remember, we still yet to have a driver go to take 2 race wins in a single season. We've had a race win in a different race winner, should I say, in every single race we've had in the Creator Series so far, which is an astonishing record. But equally, we would like to see, I think, someone at least to go 2 race wins this season. I think that would certainly be special for this championship.
Certainly would always. Hayden Gullis is spinning in turn 9 in the Vodafone bot. And he's rolling backwards. Let's hope he doesn't get stuck in the grass. He's waiting. He's not even pushing the throttle much. He doesn't get stuck on the curb. He's waiting for cars to go through. Very, very smart, very clever there from Hayden Gullis to make sure that he's not a nuisance. As we see the first times trickling in, we have 11-6, 11-7. The first 4 drivers, I'll say that. Bushians obviously had to ruin my sentence mid-sentence. The first 4 drivers I was going to say were within just over half a tenth, but then Bushians comes through and makes it 3.5 tenths between himself and that pack of 4, GB68, Alex Gillen, Sapslo, and Tiamat Marduk. But already, Tiamat Marduk with a better lap time. This banker better than his fastest Q1 lap. So I think he got the memo, finishing in P15 in Q1. He started to realize he needs a bit more out of his own pace out of the car than what he did in Q1 if he wants to survive here.
Yeah, Tiamat Marduk now currently 5th fastest, just within 4 tenths of a second off leader Bushy Ants, who set a 1:11.346 in his fastest lap stint so far. 10 minutes still to go, over 10 minutes in fact, plenty of time still for drivers to enlist laps. Tiamat Marduk comes into the pits. Obviously pleased with what he's set so far. Meriki's currently out on track 2. And looking to let
There's
fly.
a lot of traffic in the final sector right now. Bushy, Tom, Dirk, Mr. Dale, Rotadius and Liam are all within, and GB68 as well, are all within were at one point within the same 2 corners, the Audi S of turns 10 and 11. It was very packed there.
Well, there we go, and certainly that's not your friend when it comes to setting hot laps either. Meriki taking things very slowly. Liam now making his way into the pit lane as well. Dirk Chocolate also in the pits. He's a second, just around a second off the pace currently, with Bushian still holding on to the advantage. What's the latest, Badgerman?
Just one. Ale is purple in the first sector. Just half a tenth off of purple in the middle sector, but had a massive moment coming out of the Audi S. Really twitchy on the rear there. That might have cost... It didn't even cost him. That is unbelievable. That is an impressive lap time right there. With that moment coming out of turn 11 to still beat Bushians by a tenth and a half. That is impressive right there. And again, don't forget, just what Ale can still improve, because that mistake I would expect cost him possibly a tenth of a second there. So he could easily be in the 111s. Plus, he must have had some kind of mistake in the middle sector as well, as Bushians did go faster. So there's possibly 2 tenths in there in that lap and a 111.0, which was the theoretical best time of Q1.
Just goes to show, as always, there's no certainties in racing. Tom now goes 9th fastest as well, so up into the top 10. Remember, drivers need to get into the top 10 in order to qualify to get into Q3. The bottom 5 being eliminated will not proceed to the final 10, obviously. Rutanius currently sits in the bottom 5 and is currently out on an outlap. No doubt we'll see him improve from there. Meriki goes 3rd fastest in the Williams at 1:11.367. It's getting a lot more congested up at the top. Just look at how close it is between him and Bushians. Approximately 200ths is all that separates Bushians and Meriki. With him behind, GB68 there with a gap of near enough 3 tenths away from 3rd fastest. Alex Gillen, top 5 as well. Great first appearance so far for the Alfa Romeo, with other cars still out on track. Hayden Gullis obviously not getting off to a desired start, obviously after spinning. Infratic is out in 11th as well. The 2 Red Bulls currently sit in the drop zone. They will not want to stay there for too long.
Yeah, you mean a 1:50 is not fast around Zandvoort? What a shocker. But yeah, I think Hayden is on another outlap here, and he's preparing to get another lap going. He has to be careful with Infratic though. However, Infratic is on an in-lap, so I think both, yeah, he does let him through because he doesn't know whether he's on a flying lap or an in-lap, so he's just making sure Hayden Gullis is that the Red Bull gets out of the way, and then Hayden Gullis will be able to start his lap. He won't have much traffic, it seems. And yeah, we'll be able to set potentially a lap time if he doesn't spin again. Which I've actually driven 2 different setups around here in preparation for tonight. I've actually had a couple of test laps just to see what the track feels like, what the setups feel like that most drivers are likely running. And I can tell you, one of the setups quite twitchy, at least for my liking. I think some of the drivers can get on with it quite well, but who always likes a bit more understeer than oversteer personally. I know I'm the odd one out with that, but quite twitchy. The other one was pretty okay, but one of them was quite twitchy. And I think, you know, I would cut Hayden Gullis some slack if he's using that setup, which I can't tell. I don't know. But I would just assume that he's using a very similar setup to the one that I was testing there. And that is also somewhat similar to what Esports was using as, what is that lap time by Safzo? What am I seeing? A 1 minute 10.8. We have the first car that's now dipped into the 1 minute 10s.
Yeah, we certainly have. Zafso to the top. Tiamat Marduk was second fastest, but he's now been dropped at the helm of Zafso, obviously down to third fastest as well. Rutanius was fifth. He's now sitting in sixth. Hayden Gullis has backed out of his particular lap. And
He's invalidated.
He's decided to do dummy. He's decided to do some donuts at this point. So
that's for the formation lap, Hayden. Did you not get the memo? That's at the end of the formation lap, not in qualifying, mate.
Well,
come on.
Stunning scenes in qualifying. I mean, I certainly wouldn't imagine you'd want to waste tyres or time doing donuts at this very poignant point in Q2. 5 minutes and 40 to go. Racing Chai has also improved in the first sector too, looking to try and bring down that 4.6 second gap that separates him and Zafso, who currently sits in P1. Tiamat Marduk has just entered the pit lane, and Racing Chai looking very quick. He's gone purple in the second sector as well, so let's ride on board with Racing Chai heading through the final few corners now. Can the AlphaTauri sink the Silver Arrows up at the top end? We were very shocked to see the 110 when we did. Can Racing Chai do the same? Go second fastest. It's so close. Half a tenth, near enough, is all that separates the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. Just look at that gap. Just over 0.05 of a second.
Yeah, and it was all in the final sector. It was all in the Audi S, really, where he lost it. I think that Safso just took the corners, the right and then the left a little bit more aggressively. And that's the half a tenth that is the difference right there. Because I can tell you, in the first sector, 0.02 of a second towards Safso. But in the middle sector, 0.02 of a second towards Razin. So they were pretty much spot on. As they crossed the second sector split line, they were basically equal. And then it was all in the final sector where Razin lost it. Very unfortunate, but don't forget, it's only Q2. A 110.8, I'm going to say right now, I think he's through. I'll take that bet any day of the week. I think we can look at the top 3, and I would say the guaranteed safe. P4, P5, P6, likely safe. From P7 onwards, you got to start sweating now.
Absolutely. Well, we can now watch GB, who is improving as well. He's actually found a tenth of it. Well, he's only a tenth of a second off the top time at this point. So now, man from Newport looking to try and bring the gap straight back down in the Aston Martin as we see him in the bottom right of our picture. Making his way down this next straight, opens up the DRS before then making his way into the chicane. Racing Chai now into the pits. No qualms as far as he's concerned. He's not far away from Zafso at all. And Zafso, obviously content with his time, is retired, so no need to waste any more tyres or any more rubber at this track of Zandvoort. Now GB68, who was relatively quick in the previous session, is now looking to try and get himself up to the top. Bushy Ants has gone third fastest with a 1:10.9. What about GB? Fourth fastest with a 1:11.1 on the cusp. Not far away, 200s near enough away from the 110s, but still nonetheless a good time as Mr. Dale goes sixth fastest as well.
Yeah, a lot of lap times now coming in. We have Tom also on a lap. He's going green in the first sector, but already 2/10 down in the first sector. However, that middle sector, hello, he might end up in the low 111s as well. 111.1, 111.2 is certainly possible here, based on the sector times. If he gets that final sector just right, It's gonna be close between P4 and P7 that he might end up in. It is P4. He had a good final sector there as well. No big mistakes. Very strong finish to the lap. And it is, in fact, P4 for Tom. And all of a sudden, everyone's moving down and everyone's moving up. It's a lot of shuffling going on right now. I think Rutanius might be on a lap as well. I'm waiting to see his first sector split. Dirk Chocolate is on a lap coming through the last couple of corners. And he's looking all right. He's lost about 3 to 4 tenths to the leader. So that could be in the realm of P6, P7 there. Let's see what he does across the line. DRS open as early as he could. And it's a 1:11.2 P7. Misses out on beating Just One Ali by 1/100th of a second. Rutania's going purple in the middle sector. My goodness, everyone is just finding grip, finding lap time right now. And this does not bode well for Mr. Dale, who has now retired. I think in the pit lane, he has. And he might see his own demise here in Q2. Rutania's P4 1:11 flat. Wow, a lot going on right now.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Merricky, remember, is still out on track. Alex Gillen as well. Many other cars trying to find their way out of the bottom 5, and there's plenty of heavy hitters down there as well. Infratic still out on track too. Let's not forget about him as Liam goes into 10th fastest as well. So it's knocking down now Mr. Dale 9th fastest, and he's retired and on the cusp of elimination, and certainly wouldn't count out drivers such as Merricky, not to mention Alex Gillen. Big names that have a big chance of getting themselves into Q3. We're right on board now with Alex Gillen, who now ventures through the next right, the final corner, the final bank corner here at Zandvoort. He's green in the first 2 sectors. Can he make it green in the third as well? Not quite, but it's enough for P5 nonetheless, and that puts Mr. Dale right on the cusp of losing out in qualifying here.
Yeah, potentially. There's still 2 cars that just started their lap after Alex Gillen crossed the line. That's Tiamat Marduk and Hayden Gullis. Let's hope Gillen does not interfere with their laps. Again, there is history between Gillen and Tiamat Marduk. Right now, if Gillen blocks, just what Alex... What is happening? 110.6. What is this?
Merricky as well.
All 3 sectors.
Merricky
Wow.
up into second fastest, so Mr. Dale is officially out of qualifying. Infratic has crossed the line. 14th is all he can find as well. Hayden Gullis has spun again. Hayden Gullis spinning. He is now surely out of qualifying. Liam is out as well.
It's down to Tiamat Marduk or Dirk Chocolate. It's all coming down to this. 8,000ths only the improvement for Tiamat Marduk after 2 sectors. His first sector wasn't strong. He might be out here. He needs a proper final sector, or this is qualifying over for the Silverstone race winner here in Q2. Taking a short run to the line. It's an 11.2. It's not enough. Tiamat Marduk out. Dirk Chocolate in Q3.
Incredible scenes. Tiamat Marduk just could not find that little bit extra. The gap was marginal, literally marginal. It was near enough. 400ths was all that separated Dirk Chocolate and Tiamat Marduk, but it wasn't enough for the Aussie to strike back against Dirk Chocolate, who will no doubt be making a Q3 appearance here at Zandvoort, and he's going to be thrilled.
Yeah, certainly will be. If you can, I would love to see his camera right now. I really would love to see.
Well, I can, and he is smiling. I will get it configured properly for Q3. Unfortunately, he joined a little late before I could configure his camera, but we will get it back, folks. We will get some Dirt Cam as well at some point. Maxime as well has joined us too. But yeah, great to have these the ability to see these guys in action, of course. But Dirk Chocolate, what a performance now. 10th fastest here in this session, and has managed to get himself into Q3. Merricky's car being wheeled into the garage, 2nd fastest after a wonderful display. And there you can see the cars now moving their way back into the pit lane. I mean, what a lap from Just One Ali as well. Let's just talk about that for a minute, because that was scintillating. A 110.613 takes the fastest lap in this session. Merricky in 2nd, Zafso 3rd, Rasin Chai in 4th as well, Bushiance in 5th. We of course have Rutanius there in 6th as well. Alex Gillen, his first appearance in the Creator Series, and it's a Q3 appearance as well. brilliant effort from him. Tom in 8th, GB68, Dirk Chocolate just getting through, beating Tiamat Marduk to the punch in qualifying. Tiamat Marduk finishing in 11th. Mr. Dale, 12th after retiring earlier than all the others. Liam in 13th, Infratic 14th, and Hayden Gullis just could not find the grip, and he finished last in this session. But of course, we've still got Q3 to come as well, folks. Now, surely we can't suggest that Dirk Chocolate would be challenging for pole here, Badgerman.
Now you're going too far. now you listen. It's amazing that Dirk is in Q3, but I feel like, challenging for pole. Let's as we say in German, let's keep the church in the village, okay? Let's not get carried away. And yeah, I think a top 5 would be a very good result for Dirk. I don't see him challenging for pole. 6/10 off the fastest lap in Q2. He would have to find a lot of time. I think this is going to be between Justwan Ali, Meraki, Safzo, and potentially Retanius. I think those are... Maybe Bushy can get involved as well. I think, he's got the pace as well if he can get the lap together. But I think Justwan Ali, in terms of just raw pace that we saw there, that 110.6, did not expect to see that kind of a lap time here at all. I thought, in Q2, we would get lucky if we get a 1 minute 10.9, if we barely make it into the 110s, and he just shatters that in Q2 already by 0.3 of a second. Absolutely impressive stuff there from Justwan Ali, and I think he's the #1 favorite here.
Well, there you go. Certainly seems to be setting the pace as we now see Zafso leaving the pit lane and commencing his outlap. We want to hear from you folks in the live chat as well. Let us know. I can see already some activity, but let us know who you think is getting pole position here in Q3. We want to hear from you. I can already see Zylo saying Ali for pole, F1 Kid saying Zafso for pole, Bikan Zach saying Bushy for pole, Dirk for pole, says F1 Kid. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, no, he said Safzo afterwards. Yeah, I can see all 3 of those names, Ali, Safzo, and Bushy. I can see all of them making it. It really comes down to who can deliver the best under pressure, who can get their lap nailed the best, who can really focus and just end up being able to get everything on the line in that crucial moment, in that 1 minute 10 and a bit, where it all counts, where it all matters.
Yeah, well, there you can see Dirk Cam and making his way on his outlap now. And there he is. Give us a wave, Dirk. Thank you so much. As he makes his way through the final couple of corners. And we'll wait and see what he can do here in this session. Obviously, a great start is what he'll need just to set the confidence and hopefully build on that as we head towards the end of the session. Of course, now in towards turn 1. Sparks flying at the back of the Red Bull as he now flies through this next sector. Wants to run in tight on that opening corner, and then he'll make the climb through the elevation before then making his way through the middle sector. Let's run on board with the man himself as he now makes his way down through this next straight, semi-straight of sorts. There is a dip heading through the next right-hander, of course. It's very tricky, obviously relatively fast pace. You want to lift off and downshift. Some choose to downshift twice. Dirk's opt into downshift once. Heads through this next right as well. Again, just kisses the curb on the right, and now he'll make his way through this very progressive right-hander before then cutting back through to this next left, which will then activate the DRS, and then they'll head down the stretch towards the next chicane at turn 11 and turn 12. Of course, heading into this point, then sector 3 will light up, and he'll get himself set to hit the DRS detection point outside of turn 12 now. This is the point on the track which he is entering at this point. Alfa Romeo now to the top, no doubt Alex Gillen that is, which it certainly is in fact. GB68 third fastest too, as now we're seeing Dirk Chocolate now round the final corner at turn 14. DRS opens up for Dirk. Can he land himself a good early start? 5th fastest ahead of Rasin Chai as well. He'll be pleased with that.
He certainly will be, and Alex Gillen 10.7. If that's a banker lap, I'll be impressed by his flying lap after that as well, by his actual proper timed lap at the end of the session, when the grip is the highest, when everything is at its peak. A 10.5 is certainly possible, maybe even a 110.4, because even for a banker lap, This is severely impressive. 1 minute 10.7. Bushy's lap is already very good for a banker in Q3. But Alex Gillard just, I mean, in baseball, you'd call that a home run right there.
Absolutely, you would. And just watching here on our screens here, Alex Gillen, fastest in all 3 sectors. And no one has matched him just yet. Bushy Ants is currently plus 0.3 away. GB68 over half a second. Just when Ali now heading through the final corner. He'll be looking to try and enlist his first lap time. We know how quick this man can certainly be. He's green in the first 2 sectors, crossing the line. And not enough to even tickle the top end at 1:14.515. Britannia still yet to set a lap as well. We got Tom also out on a lap. Has just actually commenced his first flying lap, I believe. Now heading through the first corner, heading up the hill towards turn 2 and turn 3 at Hugenholtz box. And we'll see what he can enlist himself. Already into the final 7 minutes, folks. So let us know, once again, who is grabbing pole position. We want to hear from you in the live chat. Let's get it busy in there, folks. Is it going to be Alex Gillen? Can he hold on? Or will it be Merricky? Can Merricky come back again, just like he did at Spa, and take the win once again? There's plenty of names here. The gaps are very close. The top 7 all within a second as Tom gets out of shape with 6.5 minutes still to go. Goes off track slightly as well. Very uncomfortable moment for him.
Just Van Ali, sorry to interrupt, but Just Van Ali, he actually did 2 out laps. This is his actual flying lap now. He aborted that lap very early. That's why it's only a 1:14.5. Now he's improving already by 2.5 seconds. His first sector was actually purple, a 10th quicker than Gillen. Middle sector, though, he lost half a second, so it won't be challenging for P1. It might be challenging for P2 or 3, and it is P3 indeed for Just One Ali right there. As now Tom is going to come across the line next. His sector times... Yeah, that certainly is peculiar. But if it's only a front wing, I'm actually going to check. I hope he has his telemetry on. I would love to see it. He does not. I can't see damage. That is unfortunate. But because maybe he might have more damage. If it's only a front wing, it's not an issue. The mechanics can repair that in 30 seconds usually, and he'll be able to go out again. But if he has some kind of floor damage, side pod damage, whatever it is, it will hurt him for his next run, for his next lap, and it will potentially cost him enough that he won't be able to improve much at all. As everyone's in the pits now, well, except for Just One Ali, who's on his way back into the pits. 5 minutes 15 left. This is what I was called the calm before the storm. We are just waiting for cars to make the decision to get out on track. As Just One Ali thankfully takes it very slow so that we at least have something to look at for this moment, because no one is making any moves to go out just yet. This is always the quietest part of qualifying, which is so close to the loudest part of qualifying.
Well, I can tell you this, Merricky, Alex Bird and GB68, all 3 of them left their rigs at the same time. They've all come back at the same time as well. It's almost like they've popped off for a little conference, a little chat, before now getting set to go for the final run here in qualifying. Of course, we got 4 minutes and 30 still to go, folks. But yeah, looking forward to seeing who comes out on top. Rasin Chai is the first car to leave, and has got a little bit of time to find as well. 0.7 of a second is the gap between him and Alex Gillen, and I'm sure he'll be able to find it as well. I'm not convinced that first lap here in this session was his best one. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more from Rasin Chai. Just a quick word to you guys in the live chat once again as well. Don't forget to check out the social media. We have, of course, got the F1 Creator Series on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And I have to tell you, folks, the reaction and the response we're getting on all 3 social medias has been phenomenal. Big thank you to everybody. I tell you what, the live reels, or should I say the reels that we're getting, and the reaction to the races on Instagram has been absolutely unbelievable. TikTok as well, and Twitter, the feedback has been sensational. So I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you. That's from everyone at the Creator Series. Honestly, it does mean a lot to have your support. So please make sure you stay tuned to what's going on. Don't forget to join the Discord, Harry59 in the live chat. Obviously, the mod extraordinaire, the socials extraordinaire is really busy there, and obviously giving you all the links to all the right places where you can check out everything to do with the Creator Series. Rasin Chai now heading out on a fast run, the first of the dying moments here in Q3 now, Badgerman. Where can we see him going?
Yeah, that is the question. I don't know yet. I have to see the first sector split to make a proper prediction. It really depends on how he's getting on, but while he's just starting his lap, not only big thanks to all of you, as you mentioned, but also big thanks to our two partners that we have here, both Sim Racing Center and Grid Finder, who support this league wonderfully. And Razinchai actually takes out of it. He says this was not good enough, didn't like the first sector, didn't like how that went so far, so he's saying, nope, we're trying this again. So second out lap for him. He's going nowhere right now.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm afraid it's a no-go for Razinchai. He's going to have to get himself sorted and go again. Bushy Ants is out as well for another run. One final run, you'd figure, at this point. Obviously, 2 minutes and 20 still to go.
Could be enough for two. Could be enough for two for those drivers that have gone out by now. For those that go out at this point, it's just one.
Yeah, depends if they save the ERS. It depends if they save the ERS.
Yeah,
as well,
obviously. Yes.
It's obviously all a mystery.
You have to decide. You have to decide quite early here if you want to, just redo. But the fuel is not an issue. The minimum fuel that you have to put in the car that's limited by the game is 5 kilograms. That is enough for 3 laps if you save a little bit on the out lap, which usually the drivers do. And that is not an issue. It's more so down to, will they save the ERS over the course of that second out lap, as Razinchai is now starting his, hopefully, second round. He might actually have a third if he does have enough fuel, but at that point it gets tricky.
Well,
just when Ali goes P4. No, sorry, Dirk goes P3.
Well, Dirk now has been reduced to P4 because Rutanius has gone second fastest. Just when Ali has just started a flying lap himself. He's looking to come in clutch at the end, and yeah, the gaps are minimal, 0.06 of a second between Rutanius and Alex Gillen. It's a literal fragment. That is all that separates them. It's getting closer here at the Creator Series, but we know just when Ali can do it. He's purple in the first sector here at this point. Comes through now this next left. He's got a chicane to take. After this one, he's out of turn 10. DRS open as he heads down towards turn 11 and turn 12. As you can see, very aggressive over the curbs. Purple again in the middle sector. This could be brilliant. This could be sensational from Justwan Ali. Few corners only left to take. 13 and 14. DRS will open up. Justwan Ali to set the bar, set the trend. Can he defeat Alex Gillen's time? It's enough. No. It's a 1:10.5. It's brilliant. It's bold. It's sensational. It's here at Zandvoort. It's the Creator Series. It's Justwan Ali on pole position for now.
I thought it was going to be a 1:10.4. He misses out by 3 thousandths of a second on that, but it is a 1:10.502. What a lap time from Justwan Ali. That might very well seal pole position right here. I don't see anybody improving on that lap time. I don't see anything purple right now on the screen. Never mind Bushy Hand's purple in the middle sector. But I think he lost too much time in the first. I think that won't work as he is making his way through the last couple of corners. It's not going to be quite enough, is it? It might be P2. It's likely P2. But I don't see it happening unless he gets a fantastic run. He does not. Misses out by 0.06 of a second. I think that mistake in Sector 1 just cost him too much. Hard to overcome. Alex Gillen P3 almost beats Bushy, but doesn't quite. More to come. We have Tom in P6. Then we have Justwan Ali now finishing his in-lap there. Safso coming across the line. Double green in the first and the second sector. It is P6. Now we have Meraki, the winner from last week. Across the line, P5. That leaves 2 more drivers. Razin, who has spun in the final corner. And then we are waiting for... that would be Rutanius, who is not improving, I think. Nope, he's definitely not improving. He's slowing down. So qualifying over Justwan Ali with a fantastic lap time. I was hoping it was going to be a 1:10.4. It looked after the first 2 sectors like he was going to be able to pull it off. But that final sector just not quite. But it is obviously enough for pole position in the Haas. You love to see it. Not only the best livery of those revealed so far in real F1. Granted, there's only been 2. But also here on pole position, Justwan Ali.
Yeah, Justwan Ali takes pole position. It's a Haas on top. Bushy Ants in second fastest as well. I tell you what, we're in for a real treat, folks. Haas and Alpine on the front row. At Bushyan's marking a return with a trip on second fastest. Rutanius in the second row with Alex Gillen. A great first debut here in the Creator Series for Alex Gillen as well, starting in third fastest too. But just when Ali is on pole, Bushyan's in second, Alex Gillen third, Rutanius in fourth, Meraki in fifth. And we've got GB68 sixth, Zafso seventh, Tom in eighth, Dirk Chocolate ninth, Rasin Chai in 10th place. So there you go, folks. That is your lineup. What are your comments on that one, Badgerman? Just when Ali's showing the pace that he has done so in all three sessions so far.
I mean, what a scintillating qualifying, really. The fact we have 3 drivers within 0.08 of a second near the top, and then the whole field, really. If we exclude Razin, who was struggling a bit, if we take the top 9, 0.6 of a second separating all of them. That is incredibly close, and I can't wait for the race, especially with the potential rain looming over the track at some point during the race. Quick, let's call it housekeeping for the race. Soft, medium, hard compound, C3, C2, C1, the hardest in the selection. And the difference, the gap between softs and mediums, as well as between mediums and hards, respectively, just over 0.6 of a second in fresh in new condition. The soft tires will last just over 20 laps, the mediums just over 40 laps. The hards would last a whopping 55 laps in this race. If they have to get that far, we'll find out. I don't think so, but we'll see how it goes. And I can tell you right now, I saw Alex Gillen in Q1 using a medium tire. I don't know if he actually did laps with it, but I saw the little medium icon next to his name. If he has a used medium set, that might hurt him in the race.
It could well do. And naturally, that does throw a spanner in the works when it comes to strategy, folks. Reduces the window of opportunity, certainly for Alex Gillen. So we'll have to wait and see whether he can combat that. But what we are hearing, rumours in the live chat, that rain is going to come towards the end of the race. So interesting signs, and certainly interesting comments that we're seeing. And just want to say a big thank you as well to Patty Pat for the raid as well. Big thank you to him. Obviously a frequent contributor to this series too, a driver in this championship. Big warm welcome to Patty Pat. Obviously not racing today, but Creator Series loves you, my friend. Big warm welcome to the live chat. Big thank you to everybody, in fact. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you leave a follow and also check out all the socials. We're just going to take a quick ad break and we'll be right back. Do not go away. Well, welcome back, folks. We're back here at Zandvoort live. And just when Ali is on pole, he's leading them around on the formation lap. And he is sitting there hoping to lay claim to a race win. He has been so close. He's been in touching distance. He's fought with many ever since the start of this season, ever since the start of this championship. The big question is, can he get it done today from the front row of the grid? That's the question on everyone's lips, Badger.
It certainly is, and I just looked at the tire choices for the drivers. I've never seen it so colorful. This looks wonderful. We have 7 drivers on the softs. There'll be Tom in P8, Dirk in P9, Razin in P10, Mr. Dale in P12, Infratic in 14th, Formula Racers in 16th, and Maxime MXM in 20th. Then we have 9 drivers on mediums. And we have 4 drivers on hards. That would be Bushy Ants in P2, Rutanius in P4, Safso in P7, and Temet Marduk in P11. Obviously, the ones on mediums are the ones that I just didn't mention. Makes it a bit faster for all of us. But yeah, the rain, interesting. What the drivers have actually seen is that there's going to be around 70% of rain in 90 minutes. It will stay dry for the next hour of this race, but it's a 100% race. It will go longer than an hour, I can guarantee that right now. So 90 minutes, the question is, will we get there? 70% makes me think we're gonna basically take this as a normal race, and there will be intermediates at the end. The rain will likely come soon enough. What I would do, I have to agree with the medium runners. I'd go medium to medium at this point, as the first plan, and just stay out for all the potential safety car periods that might happen.
Well, here we go, folks. Let us know who you think is going to win this race. We're just about to hit green here as the lights lights up. Second light, third light, fourth light, and the fifth light. And it is pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. And getting away well just when Ali sprints away clear. And look at this, Alex Gillen from the start moves his way into second place. Bushian's down to third. Meraki, GB68, getting the launch of his life as well as they head through the first sector. Dirk Chocolate up into seventh as well. He's had a mesmeric start himself. But look at this, GB68 up into fifth place. Battles back against Rutanius. But just when Ali leads, he's clear from Alex Gillen. Bushians in third, Meraki in fourth.
Yeah, this is what just when Ali needed right here. He needed a good start, keep P1. We know he's got the pace, and he is obviously on that medium tire, so he needs to make a run for it. Is that Dirk, who's losing positions here, down to 8th already. Remember, he started in a whopping P... Oh, well, he started P9. He's actually not down. My bad. Yeah, he was moving down, though. He's getting overtaken by Razin now. I think it's Rutanius, actually, yeah, who's losing position. Started P4, down to 7th. That's the problem with the hard tire on the start. It's probably not warm yet, and it just doesn't have any grip anyway. So you're really just a stone, and you're just constantly falling down. Gravity just pulls you down further and further. That's what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, Rasin Chai now hanging it around the outside as he looks to try and probe that of Rutanius, getting his way through, also past Dirk Chocolate as well, who's now down into 8th place, but Rutanius immediately looking to try and challenge him through the banked corners of Zandvoort. Here at Hugenholzbach, they touch wheels on exit, but Dirk Chocolate a measure above the rest. He is up into P8, Rutanius down into 9th, and look at this battle, Tiamat Marduk up into 10th place. He's a master at brilliant race starts. Remember, he did make it through into Q3, but already from 11th up into 10th.
Yeah, one position already. That on the hard tire, that is even more impressive. So for him, definitely a good start. Now it's all about consistency, you know, waiting until everyone else. He's getting pushed, actually, by Mr. Dale there. There was a slight touch there. Not that it would cause any damage to either driver's car, but certainly interesting to see that Mr. Dale's like, come on, go faster, and pushes him down the straight. Wonderful to see there. But yeah, Tiamat Marduk, in terms of pace, just like all the hard runners, he's going to struggle. Just when Ali and Alex Gillen, the two Alexes, the name is similar enough. They're making a run for it right now. They're getting away from Bushians. 2 seconds the gap from Gillen to Bushy. And yeah, they're looking to just check out at this point. And I think that's why I'm saying the medium tire, I think, is the best tire this early on. And a medium to medium strategy. Because generally on F122 on most tracks, you want to use the medium tire as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely right there. You can see Tiamat Marduk ever focused in the bottom right-hand corner. He's just in the midst of a scrap between him and Mr. Dale. Of course, Mr. Dale, who's had a lot of rotten luck, really, at the start of his championship season here at the Creator Series, has binned it before any of the races in, well, with 5 laps in, pretty much. He says if he makes it past lap 5, then that's progress. That's what he said. But now making his way down through towards the next chicane. Side by side again now with Tiamat Marduk looking all over the back of this McLaren, trying to find his way through. But Tiamat Marduk showing that defensive etiquette that he has and has developed on those medium tyres. If he's able to keep a man back on the softs, then that'll certainly help his arsenal later on into the race. But look at this, it won't help him on the straight, as there we see Mr. Dale look to wind up his Haas. He'll look to go side by side in towards turn 1. Defensive moves there from Tiamat Marduk as they head now in towards turn 1. No move could be made at that specific point, but great effort nonetheless. Tiamat Marduk just a cut above the rest.
Yeah, certainly. He's doing very well to hold Mr. Dale behind, who almost ran into the back there in turn 3 of Tiamat Marduk. It was very close. They had to take some avoiding action did Mr. Dale. And that's a bit of the problem that the drivers are faced with here, the soft runners in particular. They are over a second a lap quicker right now than Temmet Marduk if, you know, the drivers were of equal pace, which I would say between Temmet Marduk and Mr. Dale, they probably are a very similar pace. So Mr. Dale should be a second a lap quicker, but he just can't find the way through. Temmet Marduk gets the DRS off of Retanius, barely, but he does. And Mr. Dale's just struggling, has to go around the outside. That's not going to work here in the Audi S. So he has to be patient once more and hope that maybe Retanius can pull a 1 second gap to Temmet Marduk. Doesn't look like he's got that right now. So once again, we're talking about DRS for the Aussie that's now living in the UK. Once again, he'll be able to defend.
Yeah, he will, utilising that DRS. There's movement going on further up as well, as we're seeing the AlphaTauri of Racing Chai trying to make his way through past the Alpine of Bushian. So they're touching, they're squeezing.
Oh.
He's off the track. Racing Chai heading into the bank corners on the grass, and he's sacrificed positions to Meraki. And also Dirk Chocolate is right on his rear wing too. Look at this. They got the dip curve coming up next. The deep right-hander that can very easily make you lose it. But unfortunately for him, Dirk Chocolate not able to grab the opportunity. But what a moment. Racing Chai very fortunate to still be in this race.
Yeah, certainly. That's the kind of moment once you end up with these delicate machines on the grass, that's the moment you can usually say goodbye to your race entirely. So for Razin to still be in this, not have any kind of damage either, apparently, very, very lucky indeed, and he can actually continue in P7. All he lost from this was one position, and certainly I think he'll take that, considering the the alternative, you know, losing the whole race there. As meanwhile, Tom preparing for a move on GB68. That's for P3. GB going super defensive all the way to the pit wall. Tom around the outside now, should have the grip, and I think does have the grip. That is a beautiful overtake around the outside there of turn 1 of the Tarzan Bocht. Wonderful stuff right there from the Dutch driver. Highest Dutch driver in the field right now. P3.
Brilliant move indeed, making the most of it. Tom, of course, remember, he was competitive at Spa, and remember that was with a default setup, folks. Did not load a customized setup, but has now returned to Zandvoort. No such trouble this time. He did remember to load it on this occasion. So now Tom showing that wicked pace that he has in the Alpine. Of course, had trouble actually finishing races before. Racing Chai once again looking racy, this time on the back of Meraki. Of course, race winner at Spa last time out as well. Dirk Chocolate having a better race than he usually does. 8th fastest. And also big shout out to Mr. Dale. We can confirm, folks, he has completed at least 5 laps. So massive congratulations to him.
Hey! Wonderful. Meanwhile, one thing I just noticed, we have the two leaders, Justvan Ali and Alex Gillen, who couldn't be more different in terms of their setup. Alex Gillen is currently leading the top speed ranking with 315 kilometers an hour. That's the highest speed recorded in the race by any driver. Alex Gillen. Justvan Ali is 20th with only 294 kilometers an hour.
Well, big moment we just witnessed. Racing Chai losing the rear end on the car, heading up the hill towards the bank corners, certainly through the first sector, and managed to get it back on track. But now he's lost places to Dirk Chocolate and that of Rutenius, and Racing Chai now needs to fight back against Rutenius. He's right in his rear wing, but the Ferrari on the hard tyres is going to make his life, well, pretty much a misery. The soft tyres will not serve him well if they're stuck behind a car that is on the hards. And Rutenius is going to make that job as hard for him as possible.
Yeah, speaking of wings, Temmet Marduk actually was in the pit lane. He's down to P19 now for a wing change. Must have had some kind of incident there and got some damage from it. So he's dropped to P19 now. Remember, he was on the hards. I think on the mediums, he should have a bit better pace now.
Yeah, he should do. Certainly the medium tyres should work for him. He's got to try and catch up with Maxime MXM, who's down in 18th place. Shadow ahead of her at the moment. Emphatic now dueling it out, certainly in 10th place currently. Now trying to bring back the delta on Racing Chai. Certainly will do. 1.4 seconds now as they make their way through the first sector. Racing Chai in 9th, with Rutenius now further up as well. The gaps are starting to spread out just a little bit between those two. Meraki, though, His actual lap time is starting to bring down the delta between him and Bushiance. Remember, these two were fighting it out earlier on as well. Meraki currently 6th, Bushiance in 5th as well. Very nearly within half a second. 5/10, Meraki on the medium tyres, so you'd expect him to go quicker at this point, certainly here in lap 8 of 72. And Bushiance opting for the longest stint on the hard tyres.
Yeah, it's a very interesting set of strategies here. I think what the soft runners have really done is they just gambled on an early safety car, which so far we have not gotten, but it might still happen. As I said, the soft tires last just over 20 laps, as Alex Budd is around in P17. That's in turn 9 in the Vodafone Bocht, and he's now around again the right way, and Maxime MXM closing in on him. And from what I see as well, there must have been some kind of incident earlier as what has happened to Dirk and Mr. Dale.
Well, Dirk,
something happened to Dirk.
Dirk is down in P16. Not quite sure what's happened there. We'll go live to picture-in-picture. Let's go to Dirk Cam and let's see what's up over where
Alex
he is.
Gillen is in P. Oh, Alex Gillen is down to 8th.
Goodness me, he's dropped down the field dramatically. Remember, he was up in the top 2. Not quite sure what's happened there, as we're now seeing the cars make their way through the first sector, but that means now that Tom is up into 2nd. So now it's just Ali. He's clear, 6.4 seconds. The race has just got simpler for just Ali. He's on the medium tyres, the optimal strategy with Tom on the softs. You know, he's never going to catch him. Not at this rate, not on those softs. And now he's off the track again. Alex Gillen, it's gone from bad to worse for the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, certainly struggles for the debutant here. P10 right now, and I think he's actually... Is he letting Sapso through? I think he's got some kind of issue that he needs to sort out. I don't see any damage with the car, so it's not that. I think some kind of equipment issue potentially. That would be my, my number one guess. Or is he just binning it? Is that just a bottle? As GB68 is past Tom into P2. Let's see if Alex Gillen is pitting. No, he's staying out. So maybe he may have fixed that issue. I don't know what exactly happened to him, but down to P11 he goes and has to try and recover now. That is not what he was looking for. He was so comfortably in P2, and it's all gone to waste now. But it's far from over.
It is far from over. We're only on lap 10 of 72, folks. It can all change. The dial can swing. Of course, Tim at Marduk, remember back in Silverstone, where he started on the grid. He soon managed to get himself back up to the top end. As we're now seeing, GB68 currently sat in 2nd place after overtaking Tom for that spot. We've got more issues as well further down. Yellow flags as Racing Chai, I think, might be in a little bit of bother. He's just been overtaken by Zafso. And there's a big chance again now, this time for Alex Gillen, who's looking to make some moves now. Down into the chicane on the medium tyres. He's got to get busy now to try and regain the places. Squeezing Racing Chai into the gravel trap near enough. But on the outset, it will be Gillen. He's managed to move his way back up into the top 10, disposing of Racing Chai, whose soft tyres are slightly betraying him here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, at this point, they certainly are starting to do exactly that. So, very, very unfortunate indeed for Razin and for all the soft runners at this point. You have to start thinking about potentially pitting already for mediums or maybe even hards if you really want to go there. Not sure I would do that personally, but, it's starting to get there, but you want to wait for a potential safety car, and you might just get it, as there is Alex Budd off. Already almost, or is he lapped at this point? He should be lapped, yeah. He is lapped, he's going slowly. It might be, is he trying to cause a safety car deliberately, or is he just letting everyone through?
I'm not sure.
I think he's just letting everyone through.
Yeah, I think he's taking the escape. Obviously doesn't want to be a hindrance, but he's on soft tyres.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just spun it again on the outside of the curb. So I tell you what, that's essentially, I would say, Alex Budd's race over. It certainly has not gone to plan for him, and he's going to have to try and get himself sorted out. But obviously at this point, I consider that his charge will be coming to an end. The two Alpines, though, having a great race so far. The two Mercedes also coming wheel to wheel. Liam and Zafso being joined at the hip as well. Infratic, we got a big scrap here happening in the midfield. Look at this, Infratic as well. Further down, Alex Gillen side by side. 4-car scrap. Oh, big launch. Massive launch. A huge incident. Infratic is round.
Razin!
Goodness me.
You cannot be doing that, man.
Oh, dearie me. Oh, and that's Shadow as well.
Yeah, that was way too deep from Razin there. Just diving to the inside of the corner, hoping that the others would just leave space. And I don't. Oh, I think was that contact? Was that just a bit of lag on my end? I don't know, but it looks like it was just a bit of lag. But yeah, Razin. I can't say here on the stream what I want to call what he just did there, but it wasn't anything nice. He's struggling now. Gets a massive moment on the exit of turn 9, and Alex Gillen says, well, thank you very much for that position. I'll take that off you in a heartbeat. P9 Gillen, P10 Razin, and unfortunately, Infratic, hardest hit right there.
Yeah, unfortunately for Infratic, he actually did take, I believe, a little bit of damage. Not only that, Carbon Shadow, I think, as a result, also took a very, very high level of wing damage too. Infratic actually managed to get himself past, and he did actually collide with the stranded car of Infratic. Nothing Infratic could have done about it. His car was essentially round. Carbon Shadow, unfortunately, only discovered him as he rounded turn 1, so wasn't really a lot either car could do. But at this point, I'm sure that will be looked at. Rasin Chai very late on the brakes into turn 1, which would cause that incident. There was a huge scrap going on, a 4-car scrap. I think Rasin Chai just thought he could get 2 for the price of 1 at that point.
Yeah, I think it was a bit overly ambitious. He was hoping that the other cars were just going to leave him space, and maybe potentially he may have missed his brake marker. That may be another explanation that might work here, because that sometimes does happen. You know, maybe if you take the brake boards as the markers and all of a sudden a board has been taken out. We've talked about this, I think, last week already. It might very well happen that you end up missing a brake marker because it's gone at that point, and now you have to find a new one. So maybe that was the issue. I don't know, but certainly way too deep into the corner.
Here we go for second place now. The two Alpines, sorry to interrupt, Benjamin. We got the two Alpines coming together. A swap now between Bushy Ants as well and Tom, who is now dropped down to 4th. Of course, the soft tyres, as you alluded to, Benjamin, I think they're starting to curtail off now. Tom allowing, I would say, his teammate to go through and essentially put pressure on GB68 for that second place, because those hards now are going to start working better than that of the soft compounded tyre.
Yeah, I think this is Tom being an absolute team player right there. Kudos to him for letting Bushy through, because he knows his days, his moments, his laps on the soft tire at this point very, very limited. So instead, let Bushy through, allow him to potentially challenge GB for that position, for that P2, because those hard tires are starting to get into a very good rhythm at this point. And the mediums are still going to be absolutely fine, so it's not going to be much of a struggle, but the hards should be able to stay with the medium tires at this rate. And Tom has to hold on for dear life, really, at this point, and really start thinking about pitting as soon as he drops out of DRS.
Certainly does, and you can just see they're trying to break the toe there slightly there, GB68. He knows that Bushian still has DRS, and look at him pull away from Tom as well. That gap is nearly sprinting out to his second, and just look, late on the brakes, getting closer. Bushian's a little squirrely though on exit as they now head up through the next swinging section, the snake section, before then hitting the bank curbs here at Zandvoort. Heading through the next left now, and they're going to curtail their way through Sector 2. Now they've got to dip down very shortly through the very fast right. GB68 looking to gain pace a little bit more in the middle sector. Seems to be able to find it at the start of that sector. I think Bushy was a little quicker though heading through the first sector at this point. As we're now seeing them make their way through now this circuit of Zandvoort. Bushy ants now 6/10, been cut down to 3 and 4 as now they work their way through turn 11, and very soon they'll hit turn 12 as well. DRS will open up now for Bushy. He's going to get closer and closer. This should surely tee up an opportunity to potentially attack the Aston Martin as they make their way down the next straight. Attacks the curbs there, the Alpine looking ever present. I'll tell you what, Tom's in trouble as well because Meraki is also on his tail too. So we've got a 4-car scrap, 2 separate positions up for grabs as now we're seeing the cars make their way around the final bank curves. The Alpine now getting itself wound up for a potential overtake. GB68 goes defensive.
Tom's coming
into
in.
the pits goes Tom now as they head through towards turn 1. The Alpine now in the pits. The first pit stop on those soft tyres.
Yellow
it's
flag.
a legitimate
That's
stop.
Hayden Gullis.
And Hayden Gullis round.
In the final corner. He is going again. He's not out. And he might not even have suffered too much damage. The front wing looks fine, so I don't think he has to come in for a pit stop. And he doesn't do it, in fact. But, yeah, the, what do you call him? The zebra? The giraffe. Giraffe, that's the one.
I call him the giraffe, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, the giraffe, stuck his neck out a little bit too far. Has spun around. Down to P14 he is now. And Tom in P12, barely ahead of Dirk Chocolate. I was actually looking at the gap thinking, oh, this might be really close. This might not work. Tom might be behind Dirk. He's not. He's ahead, and now he's got a lot of clean air in front of him with Dirk soon to pit, with Mr. Dale soon to pit, with Razinchai soon to pit. The only one he really has to worry about is Curbs, but he's got a 15-lap tire advantage on him. He should close in soon, and the overtake should be relatively easy.
Yeah, should we indeed. Alex Gillen now sat in 8th fastest, Zafso in 7th. You could just see those two just closing up to Zafso's teammate. Essentially, Zafso doing the team's job at the moment, essentially protecting us now. Bushy Ants takes 2nd fastest, now 2nd place in the classification. Goes ahead of GB68, who may want to fight him back through the next sector as well. GB on for a much improved run after crashing out in our last race at Spa. He is now looking in fine fettle and looking to try and tackle Bushy Ants as they make their way here on lap 17 of 72 down into the deep right-hander. Still though, Bushy Ants stretching that advantage now. He's got his nose in front, he's got clean air. He can now push on these hard tyres and essentially use them to their full extent before then taking the next stint in his strategy.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to see Bushy Ants going for the move on GB68, because if I was Bushy, I generally would have just said, and by the way, most of the drivers are in a voice chat together right now, so they are actually communicating with each other, which makes this all the more fun for them as well. But I would have said, if I was Bushy, to GB, listen, let's work together. I'm not going to attack you. I have no interest in that. You have the medium tires. You should be faster. So, you know, let's just work together here. But Bushy had other ideas, and looking at his pace, fully justifiable. He seems like he is somewhat faster, and he's making the move, or he has made the move, and now he's in P2 trying to close down just one alley. But that
we got 3 wide.
Gap.
3 wide moments here. Alex Gillen down the inside. He's managed to take it as well. A brilliant move from Alex Gillen. Sensational effort here on debut here at Zandvoort. And now he's taken back P6, heading down the long straight into turn 1. A brilliant move. Zafso down to 7th. Liam down to 8th. Rasin Chai, who's looking to go quicker as well, making his way through the middle sector. But Alex Gillen, what a prosaic move. Rasin Chai looking so quick too. Still on the soft tyres. They have not left him yet. Oh, he spun. Rasin Chai, he's round again. He's lost it through the fast right-hander. A deep dive. He lost the tread of the tyre and ended up spinning. And as a result, Curbs managed to move up into 9th.
Yeah, that move by Alex Gillen, that double overtake on the 2 Mercedes, that's an early contender here for move of the race, potentially move of the season, just for its sheer beauty. And if Alex Gillen somehow ends up in the top 3 here on the podium at the end of the race, which he might very well do, if he doesn't lose any more time, then I think this would be even more worth that double move to get clear of the 2 Mercedes and potentially pull a gap now as well. Stuff's way too far for an overtake attempt there, as we have finally the first penalty on the board. It is Mr. Dale in P16 who got himself a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, well, Rasin Chai in the pits. Obviously, I think the tyres have certainly well and truly come to their end. So Tom now moves up to 10th. Hayden Gullis now to 11th. Infratic 12th in this classification too. TMF Marduk moving up as Dirk Chocolate also pits too. So we're seeing now a lot of the strategies coming into play. The soft tyre drivers now starting to swap those out for medium and hard tyres. The mediums now starting to make a more prevalent move here in this session. Alex Budd has retired. So we've lost Alex Budd. Safety car.
Oh, wow. He retired. I think he retired not really deliberately. I think he crashed on pit. Yeah, he crashed at pit exit, not in pit exit, but right, like on the track where pit exit is. And that causes a safety car. That car is out on track. And now everyone's coming into pit as they should. Very unfortunate for the soft runners originally, because they obviously don't get the free pit stop. They have to take the full one. And now everyone else coming in. Retanius actually staying out on the hard tire. And he's now taking the lead with Maxime unlapping herself from Rutanius. Has to let him through again, but I hope that Rutanius pulls off. That's perfect. So now Maxime is unlapped, and that means she can actually be on the lead lap with everyone else and still battle, and her race is not over. This is wonderful to see. Once again, beautiful sportsmanship there from Rutanius, saying, hey, the game doesn't allow it, but if I just drive off the circuit, it'll be fine. And Maxime now past the safety car, trying to catch up to the field. And Alex Bud saying in the chat that they made him crash on the front straight. I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, well, there we see him in the bottom right-hand corner, obviously disappointed. Apparently, there's a suspected wheel disconnection. So that's what we're hearing. So issues there. Technical issues for Alex Bud.
Harry said that with a kappa, so take it with a grain of salt.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look, we can only take it on face value right now, but seeing as kappa is involved in it, it does bring out bold suspicions. But yes, looking at this situation at the moment, big call as well for Justin Ali, pitting when he did. Smart move indeed. Onto the hard tyres now, fresh tyres, sacrificing the lead to Rutanius, but I think, and to quote that of Hot Fuzz, I think it's for the greater good.
Possibly, yes. Meanwhile, we're getting note that, yeah, it's true. Justin Ali was on -7 laps of fuel at the start. He was that's why he was so quick. He was way underfueled. Way underfueled. I still, this potentially saves him, says Dylan Warren. I don't think this saves him. -7 is way too much to bring this back. And if we look through the field, to be fair, Rutanius is also on -6 still. We have Bushy Ants on +1.5, so he didn't underfuel. GB68 on -2.4. Meraki, oh, I can barely tell. I think that's -4. So a lot of drivers are going to have to fuel save throughout this race.
Certainly will.
Oh my, this is going to be... If you're watching right now, tell your friends. They need to watch this too. We might, by the end of this, we might have 10 drivers running out of fuel.
Well, let's not forget we got wet weather supposed at the end of this race as well. So keep your eyes peeled,
but
folks.
for a couple laps, that's not. It will increase the tension. It won't help with the fuel much because it's too late for that.
Yeah, but I'm on about the drama, Badgerman. That's the difference. It's the drama. Who's going to be bold enough to go to the end of it? Is anyone going to try and brave it towards the end? Obviously, with the wet weather coming down, we don't know precisely what lap it's going to start raining. Obviously,
you don't know precisely.
No,
I do.
Well, I know you do. Don't spoil it for the people at home. That's when I'm watching the cars out on track. And still under safety car procedure as we wait for Maxime MXM to obviously join up with the rest of the cars. But Rutanius now making his way around the circuit, hard tyres, and he's been in this position before, hasn't he, Badgerman? But unfortunately for Rutanius, it hasn't always paid off for him.
Yeah, it hasn't always, but this time around, I think he might actually struggle on the restart as well. With the 19-lap older hard tyres. I can't speak anymore, my goodness. The 19-lap older hard tyres, that's a lot of wear in the tyre. That's roughly, let me bring out the calculator. There should be just over 20% that's in the tyre. Quickly do the math. There we go. Times. There we go. Yeah, it's 25% that he should have in the tire by now. Oh, I can actually potentially see if he has his telemetry on. I forgot about that. Where is he? There he is. He doesn't have... unbelievable. I need to talk to the drivers after this race. They need to turn on their telemetry. This is unbelievable. I need that information.
Need to have a stern word with them, obviously.
Yes. yes, but from my estimation, the hard tires should be around 25% right now for him. Whereas obviously for everyone else, they're brand new. That difference should be around half a second in lap time.
Absolutely.
Between Retanius and Justwan Ali and all the other hard runners. For the medium runners, we're talking about 1.1, 1.2 seconds. That Bushy Ants should be faster than Retanius. So that's a lot more. But look at who's in P6 as we are getting ready for the restart. Tom, who has pitted not under this safety car, but 4 laps prior. P6 now. Impressive.
Yeah, well, Retanius now is going to get the getaway here. And now, as they round the final corner, they will put pedal to the metal for the second time in this Dutch Grand Prix. And look at the restart from Bushy Ants, as now in comes Justwan Ali, inside line now. But look at Bushy, he's going to look to try and take P2. That horrible start for Retanius, who's now seen Bushy move his way up into the lead of the race. Look at this, Retanius taking that second place back. Justwan Ali, I'm not sure whether that was premeditated or whether it was an error, but he's now back down to third. And we're seeing Curbs drop down the field as well.
Yeah, Curbs is around on the exit of turn 2. He just spun to the right. I don't think he suffered any damage from that, but certainly lost a lot of positions. And he is stuck with a 5-second penalty as well, is Curbs. And I think that may have been for speeding in the pit lane from earlier. I don't see where he got that penalty, so it must have been from that. I'm just making sure. But yeah, very unfortunate there. But I don't know what happened to Retanius. He started accelerating and then he stopped again. He fully accelerated and then he was like, no, I don't want to restart. That's something that you normally are not allowed to do. Once you full throttle it, you have to go in. Fratic's out.
Fratic's out as well. Is that another safety car? It is. Safety car has been released yet again. We just saw as well Tom move ahead of GB68 in that last chicane as well. Not to mention Retanius losing out to Justwan Ali yet again. All those moves happening in that last small quadrant before the safety car was then alerted to come out. In Fratic out of the session. A horrendous scene certainly for him. It's gone certainly from bad to worse for the Red Bull. He had a little issue earlier on where he was spun heading in towards turn 1. And now the worst has happened. Fratic is out of the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah, and we get another 5-second penalty here for Curbs for speeding in the pit lane. That's the second time now. At this point, he should really get the memo that maybe you should break a bit earlier for the pit lane. He has served the first one, but he still has a 5-second penalty. Not that it mattered much right now in terms of, you know, his position. Because he is down in last, and he's trying to catch up to the field now. But come on, you can't get 5-second penalties back to back. You do that once, okay, it happens. You know, that's sometimes you just break a bit too late. You're a bit too eager for the pit lane. Twice? No, you can't do that. That's a rookie mistake at that point.
The one thing I love about this series is the fact that the cars are always grouped back together eventually. We always have at least more than one safety car here in the Creator Series, folks.
Exactly.
But remember what this is all about. It's for your entertainment at home, and I hope you're all enjoying it as well. Please make sure, if you do so, to leave a follow and make sure you stay up to date on all the socials as well. Bushy Ants leads the Dutch Grand Prix here. Justwan Ali in second, Retanius in third. Red Bull just down to their one saviour, and that is Dirk Chocolate. Currently sits 13th. And of course, we've lost Alex Bird and we've lost Fratic now as well. 2 cars out, 18 remain. Of course, it's good news for Maxime MXM. She's able to make sure that she catches up. Obviously, no concerns with being on not the lead lap, so she's now back with everybody else. And Curbs, who has obviously had to make another stop, he is actually stopped onto the soft tyres for this next stint. A bit of a strange move, because you would have thought he would have perhaps opted for perhaps another medium stint and then got onto the softs later on.
Yeah, that's what I would have done personally, but he decided to have other ideas. Maybe he doesn't have another new medium set left, because he started on the mediums, did 19 laps on those, and so maybe he used mediums in qualifying or chose a different tire distribution, that he only has one set of mediums for the race, at which point obviously he would be a bit in trouble. But yeah, it's not the right tire, I would say, to be on the softs right now because the rain is way too far away. We see no clouds over the Dutch sky right now. So, yeah, not the right call. And I think Hayden Gallus being on softs, that doesn't help him either. Safety car in this lap. So Bushy ends hopefully a better restarter than Rutanius was. He will have an easier time because he's not on old hards. He's on fresh mediums. He should be faster. He should, I would say, restart as early as he can. Once the safety car is in, I think he should go. Slow the field. He doesn't... Oh, he's actually got a massive gap right now. 2 seconds. It's coming down a bit now as just when Ali closes in. But, yeah, safety car now on pit entry. And just when Ali doing what is no longer allowed, which is pulling alongside. Here we go.
Yeah, pedal to the metal for the 3rd time in this Grand Prix. We got a 3-wide situation immediately as they head into turn 1, and looks like Tom is hanging it around the outside with just one Ali, just barely holding on to that 2nd place. Did not get the restart that he wanted, with Rutanius also looking dangerous as we're now seeing the Aston Martin of GB68 back up into the fray of things, up at the top end. Now trying to scoop up a move on Rutanius himself. Also coming into the fight is Alex Gillen. Dirk Chocolate has moved up a place. He's up into 12th as well. As we're seeing Hayden Gullis now making his way through. I think he's dropped down the field, in fact, here, Badgerman.
Yeah, he spun somehow way into the back isn't straight. And I don't know what exactly happened. There may have been contact with another car potentially. But yeah, he's around. He's not going again, but down into 18th he goes.
Well, Mr. Dale now making his way through towards the next chicane. We got some movements there going on for P8 and P9. Racing Chai now with Liam on his inside. I think Chai might have him though through this next right-hander. The Alpha Tauri now up into 8th place on the medium tyres. Has been the victim of a couple of spins here. Has been involved in many incidents, and he can consider himself fortunate to be into the top 10. Meanwhile, more battling further up. Alex Gillen with a switchback of dreams into turn 1, but can't pull it off against GB68, who held the inside line. Great display of tenacity. I love the moves from Alex Gillen. What a debut he's having here at Creator Series.
Yeah, so far very, very strong. Not sure he's on the right tire. A lot of drivers opted for the hard tire here that started on mediums. Those who started on hards opted for mediums. I think that was actually the better call. I'm surprised that almost like no drivers so far have chosen 2 mediums. Did they all go for the softer tire distribution? That would really surprise me, because normally you want to have 2 sets of mediums available for a 100% race. A lot of drivers did not have that. In fact, no driver except Formula Racers has used 2 sets of mediums so far. So very peculiar, this one. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Currently, Bushy trying to pull a 1 second gap on Just One Ali. It's almost there, and then Just One Ali has a 1 second gap. It's actually come down again now to Tom, and then another huge gap, 1.5 from Tom to Rutanius. So the leaders are just stretching out, running away with it, and then from P4 down, we're having some fun.
Yeah, we certainly are. We've got plenty of movement going on up in the midfield. Meriki trying to get his way back up into the top end himself. He's been squabbling with many of the drivers up in the top 10. Alex Gillen being one of them, very late on the brakes there by Meraki, as he now makes his way through the banked corners. And that's left him a little bit vulnerable, because here comes Racing Chai down the inside now as they head through the next fast right-hander. They dip through, rubbing onto the grass there, Racing Chai. The gap was very marginal for him to get through, and unable to make the move on Meraki, who holds on to that 7th place. But yes, they're getting closer and closer, and look at this, Safso as well getting into the mix here too. GB68, who's currently chasing after Rutanius. That gap now 1.5 seconds between Rutanius and Tom right now. Racing Chai getting a lovely exit though, and will open up the DRS as he looks to pressurise Meraki here heading in towards the chicane. Unfortunately though for Racing Chai, he has not got the optimum line and now leaves himself potentially in jeopardy to the Mercedes in behind as well. And through goes Safso. Safso now up into 8th. I tell you what, Chai is looking overly, well, massively uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, certainly does, and he's been dropping a bit here. But what he has to do at this point, in my opinion, is he has to just work together with Safso. They're both on similar tyres, rather fresh mediums that have, this one probably, I know it says 8 to 10 laps in, but really, they have about 5 racing laps in, because we had 2 safety cars since they were put on. And so they are very fresh, very new. You have to work together against these hard runners of Meraki, Alex Gill, and GB68. Retanius on those old hards. I'm surprised GB68 still isn't past that Ferrari. He should have a lot more pace to be able to overtake him, and he generally will keep that pace advantage, obviously, because they are both on the same compound, so that gap will remain the same, that delta between the new softs and the new hards and the old hards will remain the same, obviously, the more laps they do. So yeah, surprised that GB is still very patient there behind Retanius, and it doesn't look like he's getting too close to try and make an overtake.
No, but he will have DRS nonetheless and close the gap. Retanius outside the gap by 3.5 seconds. So there we go. And the gaps are getting marginal and more marginal as time goes on further down too. Mr. Dale, in fact, going for the move this time on Liam. And they remain side by side through turn 1. The Haas down the inside. Mercedes cannot hold him back as they head through the S section. And yes, Mr. Dale up into 10th place. Mercedes once again, though, at the mercy of Dirk Chocolate, who also fancies a move himself as they head through the middle sector. Now right on board with Dirk Chocolate, of course, getting into Q3 once again. You have to give him credit, he was very quick in qualifying as well and pulled off the laps when he needed them most as they head through now towards this next right-hander in front of him. You can see there the Mercedes of Liam. He's going to try and fight back against Mr. Dale. Further back curbs as well, also getting himself into the mix. Remember, he's on that fresher soft compounded tyre, but as we said before, probably not the best strategical move at this point in the race on lap 30 of 72.
Yeah, certainly not. Currently, we are still having bright skies, and if you're expecting rain, bright skies is not what you're looking for. Meanwhile, we have more information on Jusman Ali. He is on -4 laps of fuel, so at this point, it's not looking great whatsoever. I'm going to try to see if I can make it out on the wheel. Exactly -4.
Here comes Dirk. Dirk Chocolate now for the move on the inside now. Side-by-side contact as they head through between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Heading out of turn 1. They remain side-by-side and through the S section. Dirk Chocolate now looking to try and get himself up into P11. Hugs the outside line now on the back curve. Through goes curbs on the soft tyres. He's made it through and now fancies a pop here. And Liam as well. 2 Mercedes engines marked in their way through this field. Still though, it looks like Liam is going to hold back the tirade, set in play by curves, but Dirk Chocolate losing out in that immediate instance.
Yeah, well, how opportunistic by curbs there. Sees that Dirk is taking the long way around turn 3, around the super bank corner, and he says, well, I'll just check it up the inside, and he goes up into P12. Beautiful move there. Sometimes you just got to take what your opponent gives you, and that's exactly what Curbs did. It worked like a charm.
Certainly did. Dirk Chocolate coming off the back of that. Really the unfortunate one. Down into 13th place. He had the grip, and it looked like he had the better line as well. Tiamat Marduk, who's further down as well, as we're witnessing certainly some movement heading down the home straight. Lots of cars weaving, looking to break the toe. Tiamat Marduk currently sits 14th. Of course, we're now looking to see if Dirk can try and find his way through. Obviously, he himself currently sat in that 13th spot, as we said before. We now watch the cars make their way through the bank section. Still no change at the top end. Bushian's currently controlling his own race right now, medium tyres. And I've got to say, based on his pace and his form, you'd fancy him to go all the way here.
Yeah, currently certainly looks like it. There is a very good chance for Bushians to make it all the way, but remember, we still have rain waiting, and it will all come down to how the drivers handle the crossover when it happens. Not even if it happens, no, when it happens. And by the looks of it, by what I can see on my, not quite weather radar, the game is not that advanced, unfortunately, it would be nice, but what I can see here, it's going to be quite a steep crossover. It's going to happen very quickly, and that might catch some drivers out who might stay out a bit too late.
We got Dirk Chocolate and TMM Marduk side by side here, and we're getting certainly a live picture view of Dirk's reaction to see TMM Marduk now looking to try and challenge him. There's a squeeze there from Dirk heading out to the outside. He's looking to try and defend his position here and doing his best to keep the McLaren at bay. A wry smile there from Dirk Chocolate as he holds on to 13th place in brilliant fashion indeed. Round the bank curves, and after being hung high and dry earlier on when he was battling for that P11 spot, he now manages to defend the position against TMM Marduk as they make their way through the first and second sector.
Yeah, meanwhile, on a very different note, I'm actually very impressed by the drivers and how well behaved they are. All we have so far is 2 retirements in Fratic and Alex Budd, and all we have is 2 drivers with penalties. That's Mr. Dale and Curbs. That's it. Everyone else incredibly well behaved. So obviously Razin might have a post-race penalty coming his way for what he did in turn 1. That torpedo moment right there early in the race, that might very well see. But other than that, 15 of the 20 drivers keeping their noses basically clean and not getting any penalties, not getting much damage. It's not retiring. It's very, very good to see after the last couple of races where things certainly were a bit different. If I think back to Silverstone and the amount of penalties we had there, great to see that it's becoming a lot less. So kudos to all the drivers for being as well behaved as they are today.
Yeah, absolutely right. Alex Gillen getting closer and closer to GB68 now, and it's getting a little bit contentious between these two. Alex Gillen pushing him through that next right, of course making their way through now towards turns 9 and also turns 10 as well. There we're seeing them take it, still turn 11 to come. Turn 12 will be down the long straight after the DRS line as now they come through, and you can just see there literally Alex Gillen riding that rear wing, and he's trying to let fly here, give himself a nice bit of exit speed before then beckoning their way into the next chicane. It will tee him up for obviously an opportunity at an overtake heading down the home straight. Obviously he'll have to chance his arm, effectively need a better run than GB68 heading through the final curve, you'd think, heading through this next right now. And now turn 14 is up next. There you can see them certainly from our helicopter view. So we see the cars make their way across the line to commence their lap 35 of 72. And then we can see movements further back as well, as in comes now Zafso having a battle with that of Meraki as well. They still remain side by side on the outset of turn 1, and it will be Zafso who takes that P7 and is now going to look to try and close up on Alex Gillen. Meraki was held up there certainly through turn 1. The hard tyres lacking on pace in comparison to that medium tyre, and now moving his way up the field. Zafso on the pace today.
That's exactly what it is. The medium tire really struggling. The hard tire really struggling still against that medium. Medium tire still very strong in its performance right now, and should be for a good another 10, 15, maybe even 20 laps. It should, well, 20 laps is maybe stretching it a little bit. But the question is, will that medium tire for most of those medium runners make it to the rain? Looking at when rain is predicted, I'm not quite sure. It's gonna be on the knife's edge. The same, by the way, is true for Retanius. That hard tire might not make it either. For everyone else, it will, but Retanius started on that hard tire. He's done 35 laps on them, granted about 6 of those.
Oh, it's Gillen! Big move from Gillen. He's run wide at turn 1. He sent it. It was like a jackhammer heading through the inside against GB68. But again, trying a very daring move. He did catch up a lot with GB68 down the home straight. The DRS certainly did give him the straight line speed, but really did torpedo it into turn 1. Just unable to pull the move off, as we see a battle further down as well between Dirk Chocolate and Curbs further down. TMM Marduk back in the fight on this one too, as they head through the middle sector, and Dirk Chocolate now, after trying to tackle Curbs, now has TMM Marduk on his back.
Yeah, what a send from Alex Gillen. Not sure he really wanted to do that, but yeah, if I was GB68 right now, I'd probably say a couple of curse words that are definitely not suitable for the broadcast. But yeah, I'd be cursing out Alex Gillen right now, because you don't do that. That is a heart attack waiting to happen right there, and thankfully it didn't happen that the drivers made contact, that there was any damage, but my goodness. It's not what you want to see, really. And now it looks like Rutanius actually uses that advantage. Look at this. He's got a 1.4 second gap. He used that moment where both of them were slowed down and decides, you know what, now I can pull a gap, and literally burned his battery to do it. That is heads up driving right there from Rutanius. He sees something's going on. There's an opportunity, and he takes it with both hands. Wonderful stuff on those old hard tires. Very, very strong right there indeed.
Tim Amarnik also making a double overtake, getting past Dirk Chocolate and that as well of Curbs to get that P12 as well, heading out of the final sector and then heading down the long straight, had the DRS, and now he's looking so quick on those hard tyres as well. Curbs now under pressure from Dirk Chocolate further back as well, 14th place, as now he looks to try and promote himself up to 13th as well before they then undertake this next left. Obviously they've got another straight to take. A lovely exit there from Dirk Chocolate as he looks to hug the inside line. They will have the chicane up next, and Curbs I don't think will have enough to stop him. Dirk Chocolate, oh, he did have a chance. It looked like he had the door open as now they head out of the chicane. They've then got the final two corners still to come, and just look at him right in the Williams rear wing. Curbs goes defensive yet again as they head through the final couple of corners. Out of shape there, Dirk Chocolate, and that's cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, certainly has. I mean, well, Curbs is pitting now. The soft tire's not good enough anymore, so he's going off of those and probably onto another set of softs. If he doesn't have any more mediums left, he would have to go onto another set of softs. But he's not going to use the hards, surely. I wonder what he's going to do. I don't even know. Yeah, he's going hards. Wow. He's going the 4-lap old hards that he's used earlier after the first safety car and before the second safety car.
Well, no
interesting choice.
No doubt he might even try and get them to the end. Who knows? I mean, that's got to be the stamina test. You never know. We'll have to wait
for sure. No, they will make it at least to the rain. That's guaranteed. As I said, even the hard tires of Just Wanale, Alex Gillen, GB68, Meraki, Liam, they will make it to the rain, no doubt. That is, yeah, that is for sure. The question is just, what about the medium runners, and what about Rutanius on those really old 37, now 38 lap old hard tires? That's going to be tricky.
Certainly will be. Zafso getting closer to GB68 again now, and you know that Zafso's not afraid to make the big moves. We've seen him do it before, many times before. In fact, he took Meraki earlier on when we were watching. Obviously, that battle undertake itself through this same section of the track. As now we're seeing it get closer and closer now to GB68's Aston Martin as they head now out of the first bank corner. Alex Gillen, who's trying to get himself closer and closer to the back of Rutanius. 1.1 seconds between them. Rutanius actually pulling away from Alex Gillen at this point. The delta is now sort of expanded outside of that second gap, touching the 1.4s. Currently sits now within. Alex Gillen working hard to try and bring it back in. GB68 now in 6. Also trying to run that delta back himself. Obviously still in the frame here for big points, and that's all he needs. Obviously it'll be a lot better than his visit at Spa, where of course he had that incident with Melanie in that bizarre moment heading through Les Combes. Obviously a lot of traffic at that portion of the circuit, but once again though, GB68 back with a vengeance and on for the big points, but will have to keep Zafso at bay if he wants to keep hold of this 6th place. Bushian still leads though, 4.2 seconds was the gap just when Ali working hard to pull that gap right back into. He of course being on the hard tyres. Tom currently sits in 3rd. Alpine on for superb points today, and we know how well Bushian and Tom work together. They're currently on for a double podium at this rate, and Tom, who is yet to really, obviously there was a lot of talk as to whether he would finish a race, he now looks like he's on for a podium here tonight.
Yeah, definitely very, very strong there from Tom. The one thing I'm a bit worried about with the sort of crossover between dry and intermediates, between dry and rain, being as projected to be as steep as it is, they might have to double stack, and a 6-second gap might potentially lose Tom a little bit of time, and he might then get held up in the pit lane, who knows. So plus, will Tom make it to the rain on those medium tires? The lifespan for those tires are 41 laps, and he's on 24 laps right now. Granted, 6 of those were under safety car, so usually what you do is you take 4 away. So he's on 20 right now. He's actually pitting. What? No way. Oh, no.
Well, he's gone double medium, so
Yeah, that's the best he can do. But, oh, this is not good for him.
Well,
That is El Pain, not El Plan. And Tom in P13 re-emerges. Will have a bit of clean air before he catches up to Dirk Chocolate, and will be faster than pretty much anyone on the track right now.
Yeah, obviously he'll have the fresher compounded tyres, and they will certainly get him to where he needs to be in the race. But there we go. That's the end of that. He's opted for the stop, and now he's got to make his way around the track now on these medium tyres. It's now up to him to try and rein the gap back in. Rutanius now, as a result, up to third. Alex Gillen up to fourth. I must say the recovery drive from Alex Gillen after that incident earlier on has been mind-blowing. It's been staggering. It's been a great debut from Alex Gillen. Now for Romeo currently sits half a second outside of Rutanius and is trying to bring it back in as well. So the two Ferrari engines currently joined together. Ferrari engines actually in second, third and fourth at this point, with the Mercedes and the Aston Martin in fifth. And then the Mercedes engine, in comes Rutanius as well.
Yeah, the hard tire is not lasting long enough, and I understand where he's coming from. Sort of responding to Tom as well, I think, is what this is. And he's not the only one. Mr. Dale coming in as well. Getting, I think, what was an unjustified 3-second time penalty. I think he got that for on pit entry. Very weird one, that. But might actually get removed by the end of the race, or after the end of the race. But Rutanius out in P12, responding to Tom there. And not exactly the worst choice. After 41 laps on hards, certainly not the worst choice. I think both Tom and Rutanius, if they can get going, if they can get, you know, decent sector times, decent lap times in with their fresh medium tires, they certainly have a chance to make some overtakes happen, to make up some positions, because they should have a lot more grip than they had before this, and they should have a lot more grip than everyone else around them.
Yeah, well, Zafso now currently sits in fifth place. He's ahead of Meraki, who is currently sat just about a second in behind as well, and is actually back closing the gap. So Meraki looking pretty strong. Medium tyres just doing enough at this stage just to stay ahead of those hards. And Zafso looking very menacing on the back of GB68's car. We did see him closing the gap earlier on. That gap is now got closer and closer. Further up, Alex Gillen, who is nursing that third place with a gap of half a second to GB68 as well. Equilateral gaps between that three. And then, of course, Meraki bringing himself within the fight too. He has now touched 8.5 tenths of a second, the gap between him and Zafso. Rasin Chai also 7 tenths in behind him. Tiamat Marduk now up into the top 10, 7.5 seconds away from Rasin Chai, with Liam in behind him as well. And Dirk Chocolate, who currently sits in 10th. Tom, who was just pitted, he's now up into 11th with Rutanius behind him, and his teammate Formula Racers, who currently sits in 13th with Mr. Dale, who is currently on for his best race yet. Obviously has lasted beyond 5 laps now. Currently sits on 43 laps. So a big, big round of applause for Mr. Dale.
Yeah, certainly. Meanwhile, Tom, you just saw the pop up their fastest lap and just got taken away now by his teammate, Bushy Ants, on old medium tires. It's actually impressive how strong Bushy Ants is going here with these old medium tires. I think he might be able to make it to the rain. Rutanius is going purple in the middle sector. He might take that fastest lap in just a moment, but Tom, last lap, gained 8 tenths of a second on Dirk Chocolate. That's not enough compared to what he needs in terms of pace. He would need to make a second on those drivers in front, and he's not currently doing that. Last lap now, actually 3 tenths between Tom and Dirk that Tom gained, so a lot less there. Rutanius, on the other hand, going purple, gained 9 tenths on Dirk and 9 tenths on Tom, sorry, and 1.2 seconds on Dirk Chocolate there. So Rutanius seems to be working with those new medium tires. Tom, on the other hand, not so much. I think pace-wise he struggles a bit.
Yeah, well, Zafso now still trying to get closer and closer. We have got confirmation, folks, from Alex's engineer saying rain in 15. That's the view.
If the engineer, here's the thing, a lot of you might not know this, but it is a little bit of learning how the F1 game works. If the engineer says rain in 15 minutes, that means at least 15 minutes. It's somewhere between 15 and 30. If the engineer says 10 minutes, it's between 10 and 15. If the engineer says 5 minutes, it's between 5 and 10. And if the engineer says rain is imminent, then it's going to come down in the next 5 minutes.
Well, there we go. We'll have to wait and see what happens then. Could be the case that we could be waiting a while yet. Obviously, as time draws on, it looks like it's going to come present at the end of this race. Of course, we're only on lap 45. 72 laps is the amount in this race. Still plenty of time to go. As we're now seeing the cars make their way through this middle sector now. We're seeing Zafso, who's trying to gain here on GB68. GB, incidentally, though, getting close to Alex Gillen. He's now broken into 0.3 of a second between that of the Alfa Romeo and the Aston Martin. GB68 on for an improved drive here, Badgerman.
Certainly is, and still holding on with Alex Gillen there. Similar pace between the two. Great to see, and we might see a little bit of battling going on between those two in the next couple of laps before and maybe even after the rain hits. So we'll see about that. But right now, I'm keeping an eye on the skies right now. They're still looking pretty good, which once again reaffirms the sort of, it's going to be a very quick crossover potentially. Because I've seen crossovers where it literally takes 15 minutes for a crossover, and it gets dark, and then like half an hour later even, it starts raining. This one, the first clouds are there now. You can see the clouds forming there in grey, in dark grey, on the light blue of the rest of the sky. But I think it's still quite a bit out. If I would say to all the viewers right now, if you want to grab a drink, grab something to eat, go to the loo real quick, I think now is your best opportunity, because the rain is a little bit further out, but not too far, so you have time for that stuff. But please come back once you're done with that, because you don't want to miss this.
No, you certainly don't. It's going to get spicy towards the end, folks. We're now seeing GB68 make his way down through towards the next chicane, and trying to catch up with that of Alex Gillen as well as they head out now of this next section. As Harry59 has done so well, don't forget to check out the socials for the Creator Series, F1 Creator Series on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well, where many of the highlights get featured on our social media platforms, not to mention race updates, new drivers joining as well. Carbon Shadow just on the pit exit now, so he's going to join in the midst of these cars now venturing through turn one, as we're now seeing certainly Alex Gillen just making his way through this point. Carbon Shadow on the cusp, I would say, here of getting lapped here, and he's going to be certainly at the danger of that. A very disappointing drive as well for Hayden Gullis at this stage, Badgerman.
Yeah, certainly is, but nothing's over. We still have 25 laps to go, and as we know here in the Creator Series, safety cars are always present in some way or another. So and maybe the leaders would let Hayden Gullis through by driving off the track to allow him to unlap himself. Usually we've seen that a couple times now, so it's never really over as long as you're not lapped twice. Once you're lapped twice, I think it's safe to say you could probably retire, but I think he's only lapped once, and so is Carbon Shadow now as well, so that is a bit tricky for them, but they might just gain their places back at some point.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this now, just when Ali getting closer and closer to Bushy Ants did actually manage to touch within 1 second, and is now starting to get closer and closer and closer. So just when Ali now looking to try and move himself up to the lead of the race. Lap 48 of 72 here. Bushy Ants, who has been leading now for a strong portion here since the safety car restart that we just recently had. Obviously the third safety car, or the third restart that we had, the second safety car. You know, see them make their way through this next right-hander, middle sector.
Purple first from Just One Ali. Sorry to interrupt, but purple first sector from Just One Ali. I think he means business. He wants to get that position now.
He certainly does. Bushy Ants, who did hold on to the purple first sector, now makes his way down through towards the next chicane. The Haas just in behind now, giving chase, and certainly looks very, very quick on those hard tyres. Might be the case that Bushy's tyres are starting to wear off, but there might not be any sense in Bushy stopping at this point. There obviously wouldn't be, because he can take those mediums for as long as possible and effectively stay in this race until the wets come into play, or at least the intermediates, that's for sure. As we're now seeing them make their way down the next straight. Obviously now turn one beckons. There you see the Haas now looking to get closer. Just One Ali, who of course set the pole position lap time at the very start, led a good portion at the very start of this race too, and now he's going to contest with Bushyants and the Alpine, with Alex Gillen now 12 seconds down the road in third place as well, as now Rasin Chai and Meriki come together through turn one as well. Meriki the long way round here against Rasin Chai, who's been on the end of many a move here. Rasin Chai, who now holds on to sixth place, keeps Meriki in behind as well as they head through the first bank corner here on lap 49. Meriki forced to lick his wounds. He remains in seventh place.
Yeah, wonderful move there. Not usually the easiest overtaking opportunity to get through there, but he did well to do just that. And yeah, I'm looking at the weather once again. I think we're not too far away. At this point, you have to stick it out, whichever tire you're on. It doesn't matter. You have to stick it out. Just wait until the rain hits, because it's not too far out at this point. I think I think the engineer is going to talk about 10 minutes at this point, which means somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes is when we see the first raindrops hit the circuit.
Yeah, well, DRS now for Just One Ali brings him closer and closer to Bushyants. They come out of turn one, and just look, they are getting closer and closer, folks, as time moves on. It certainly seems that Just One Ali has the pace against this Alpine as they now venture out of the first bank corner here on lap 50. Of course, now we only have a mere 22 laps left here in this Dutch Grand Prix, and we have a yellow flag situation. What's the latest? What can you tell us? We got a move there. I think Rutanius and Tom coming together there as well.
I think the yellow flag was for Razin, who's now down to P7. Remember, he was battling with Meraki just a moment ago and ahead of Meraki just a moment ago. He's now 4 seconds behind. I think that was a potential spin on the exit of turn one there for the AlphaTauri driver, but he has recovered. No wing damage as I can see, so he will continue on, and just a bit of time loss. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, well, here they come now around this final corner. Now, this will be a battle for the lead. We got Bushyants and Just One Ali together, and very, very close as well. Lap 50, they're soon to start lap 51. Bushyants leads the way as they head through towards turn one now. There you can see them driving closer and closer together. Just One Ali, who was on pole at the start of this race, as I alluded to, is now looking to come back and attack the Alpine now through this first sector. They head through now towards this next bank curve yet again, heading down now towards this next semi-straight, where they will make their way down towards the in-swinger, the down elevation, or should we say, not the devat, well, what would be the word for that? It's certainly not elevation, because that's uphill, as they now venture through this next downhill right, now in towards this next right again. A very technical part of the circuit here in Sector 2. Bushyants, though, doing enough to negate the time loss. What I can tell you is, folks, we got a huge scrap happening there for P10, as now we're seeing Tom now come together with Liam and Dirk Chocolate also in the mix. It is certainly going to be a three-way scrap there for that P11 spot, as we're now seeing Rutanius hold on to ninth. Further back, Liam, who's in 10th, currently being handed there a very, very tricky second sector by Tom in the Alpine, who is going so much quicker on those medium tyres.
Yeah, Rutanius is doing everything he has to do. Meanwhile, with the rain looming ever closer, ever larger in the race now, I think, for a lot of drivers, it should say now something like 10 minutes until the rain hits, roughly. Maybe even drop to 5 for some. There's always a bit of uncertainty when the engineer talks about the weather, because obviously he's not a weatherman, he's not a meteorologist, so what does he know really? But he does know a fair few things. And right now, Just One Ali has the perfect moment as Tom goes past Liam. Massive tire advantage there, easy overtake, that's on strategy. Just One Ali has to make the move rather soon, and Bushyants has to hold on for dear life to not let Just One Ali pass. That would be the ideal scenario. But right now, Bushyants still in the lead, and the rain is coming ever closer.
Certainly is. Bushyants now currently holding on to the advantage. Great move, though, from Tom to make use of his fresher tyres to get past that of Liam's Mercedes, who's now been demoted down to 11th spot. But Rutanius taking full advantage of the battle and has managed to advance his gap in between him and the cars behind, as now Timo Marduk looks to try and get close to Rasin Chai. We got Just One Ali, who is still once again trying to fight to get within delta of Bushyants, who's done a great job of sort of nurturing his car through these these laps. Obviously, very soon we'll be getting closer and closer to the rain portion. Obviously, that's the rumour, folks. We've got rain coming down later on in this race. So we've still got plenty of time, though, still to go. Approximately 19 laps until the end. But before that, we will see a suspected spotting of showers here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, it's going to be quite soon as well, I think. Looking at the fuel, I just looked through, since someone's asking in the chat as well. People are saying Ale's fuel not looking good. Yeah, Ale is on -4 laps. It's not looking too great for him. Let me quickly see once again. Bushy's on +1.4. It's hard to tell whether it's a plus or minus, and on my screen, the color doesn't change. It doesn't show it in red. It just shows a number. But I think it's 1.4 for Bushy. Just when Ali -4.6 right now. Alex Gillen +1.6, so he's safe on fuel. GB68, if he can get out of that corner, is right on the cusp. I think -0.2. That's definitely manageable till the end of the race. Safso +2 laps almost, so no issues there. Meraki, oh, that's too far away. I can't tell. Is that +4? He might be overfueled way too much. Razin is pitting with, I think that's +1.3. It's so hard to tell. Tiamat Marduk +0.3, so he's absolutely fine. Really, it's only just one Ali who is struggling on fuel severely at this point. He's the only one who really massively struggles here and might very well end up running out of fuel before the end of the race. And I think he might not actually overtake Bushy Ants. He might not actually be interested in that. Because as long as you can stay behind and have the DRS and be towed along, why bother overtaking? Why bother burning fuel? You have to save as much as you can. But at this point, the only thing that can save Ali is probably, with 18 laps remaining, about 4 safety cars? Maybe 5 if you can fit them in.
Yeah, well, he's going to need something to help him out. Just when Ali getting closer now to Bushy Ants as they head down this next straight. DRS open on the Haas as they make their way down towards turn 1. Started on pole. He is now in second place, trying to challenge now Bushy Ants through turn 1. Doesn't quite get close enough, but he is so close now, nevertheless, to the Alpine still. Bushy Ants leads, as I said before. Alex Gillen, who is trying to work hard to break into that gap that Justin Ali has on him right now on lap 55 of 72. The lap times, or certainly the laps that are left, are certainly cascading downwards. There's not that many. 72, of course, in total here at Zandvoort. We're on lap 55, and the sky is looking gloomier and gloomier. And to me, I think we could be seeing scattered showers very shortly.
Very shortly, yeah. At this point, if you think about, having a loo break or going for some food, some snacks, some drinks, don't. Now it's too late. I gave you that, information about 10 minutes ago. That was the time. Now it's too late. Now you gotta hold it in. Now you gotta wait. You gotta, starve. No, it's not that bad, but, you gotta wait a little bit until you can get that, because this is the moment right here. Within the next couple of minutes, we are gonna get the rain. It's getting ever darker, ever gloomier. And this is right now the situation where all the drivers have to be on their absolute best. They have to be on their toes, making sure that they pit at just the right time, not too early, because then you waste wonderful or very important wear on those intermediate tires and lap time, and not too late, because then you will waste even more lap time by being in the wet on dry tires and just sliding around every corner.
Certainly will. Just when Ali still trying to work hard to come back now. Looks really gloomy out there now. The clouds are really starting to cover the track of Zandvoort now at this point. It won't be long before we see the little darts of rain shooting down from the sky. And as the track gets damper and damper, it'll soon be the call of the drivers as to when they are going to pit. Now that can have a high impetus, certainly a high measure as to where we will sit towards the end of this Grand Prix. And where there's rain, there's treachery. And where there's treachery, there's safety cars. As we're now seeing them make their way in towards the final sector still. Down the final few corners now. They got turns 13 and now 14 to take. Bushy Ants still leads, but by the skin of his teeth. Obviously the gap now coming down just when Ali staying within DRS, just tracking the Alpine. Obviously, as we alluded to earlier on, the fuel looking very treacherous for just when Ali, and he could lose this race alone on the fact that he won't make it to the end.
Yeah, he might very well end up doing exactly that. I just quickly have to check what is the setting, the low fuel mode. The low fuel mode here in this lobby is set to hard, which means if you do run out of fuel, you go very slowly. You can make it to the end. That, like, it doesn't just stall you outright. That F1 just doesn't do that at all. But if the low fuel mode was easy, you could still continue with almost no time. I think you'd lose about 1 to 2 seconds a lap, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal. If you end up with no fuel in the hard low fuel mode, yeah, you're losing a good 20 seconds a lap, probably, maybe just 15, but depends a bit on the circuit. But you lose a lot of time at that point, and it's not looking good for Just One Ali right now.
What we can confirm, folks, is that light rain is forecast on our current conditions situation. If you take a look to your right-hand side on your screen, 72% chance of rain. That's what it's saying. So we're now keeping our eyes peeled. Plus 5 minutes, light rain. That's all we can see. So for sure, we will see the wet weather cascade from the skies. But the question is, how soon will it be? Because it could happen at any point now between now and the next hour. Obviously, we've only got a mere matter of just around 15 laps to go, as you can now see the bell tolling 15, as we're now seeing the cars make their way through the first corner here. We're now seeing GB68 trying to break himself into the podium places. Alex Gillen holding on to that privilege right now, third place, but the Alfa Romeo is about to be met by an Aston Martin that's looking mean in green, certainly here at Zandvoort, as now they head down through towards this next right now. Further back, Zapso also in the mix, Meraki being towed along as well, still in proximity, who still could potentially take his second win of the season.
Yeah, I'm on board right now with Bushians to see when the first raindrops come down. And so far, I don't see any, but it might not be long. It's, yeah, at this point, it's got to be rather soon. And I think... There it is! There are the raindrops! I can see raindrops on the onboard camera of Bushians. The raindrops are coming down right now. Well, it's not enough to pit just yet, but the rain is here, and now the drivers will have to face the decision, when do they pit?
Well, there we are. Strategy test now for the drivers. When do they box? Obviously, it depends on how damp the track gets. That is, of course, the matter at hand here. Bushians leads the way. Just when Ali has got closer and closer, and now sits 6'10", in behind that of the Alpine as they now dip through this next right. Bushians has done so tremendously well to govern this race here from the front. Alex Gillen further back has also got a matter of his own, because GB68, and the rain is cascading down here at Zandvoort. It is dripping, it's flashing down. There you can see it. Now. They've surely got to come in.
This is what I meant when I said the crossover is going to be mighty quick. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. They will all have to pit now. If anyone stays out and thinks, it doesn't look that bad, they are not looking correctly, and they will make a massive mistake. I think this is time now for everyone to pit. The sector times are massively deteriorating. We're talking about over a second per sector that the drivers are losing now, and surely everyone's coming in. Oh, Just One Ali getting really close to Bushy Ants there. Will they all break in time? They will. I think everyone's coming in now.
Yeah, in they come. Bushians in, Just One Ali and Alex Gillen, without a doubt, surely will come in as well. This is it, folks. This is the moment that you can see now. Intermediate tyres going on the Haas, or should I say the Alpine of Bushians, and the Haas of Just One Ali. Alex Gillen also in his grid spot, changing those hard tyres for a set of intermediates. Bushians now still leads this Dutch Grand Prix. 12 laps left to go, and now intermediate tyre conditions, as now we see Tom pick up a 5-second time penalty. So Tom picking up 5 seconds, and that will hinder his position at the end of the race.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do in these conditions. You're on dry tyres, you're in the wet, and you obviously have your brake marker for the pit entry line where you brake in normal dry conditions. Obviously, that doesn't work. If you brake at that exact same point, and I think that's what Tom found out there, if you brake at that exact same point, but you're on dry tires in the wets, in wet conditions, yeah, you're gonna get a 5-second penalty. You're gonna overshoot the pit entry, and that's exactly what happened to Tom there. And a 5-second penalty is now added to his name, as we have a yellow flag. That is no, that's Carbon Shadow. My bad. That's Carbon Shadow around on the exit of turn 6, on the exit of Schijvlak. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I've wanted to do that at least once this stream. My Dutch is not the best, but I tried. That's all I can say. He's going again, and there is a Mercedes going past him. That is a car that's a lap ahead of Carbon Shadow. And yeah, Carbon Shadow is struggling now. He did not pit last lap for intermediates. The only one out on dry tires, and it's not working. It's exactly what I meant when I said the crossover is going to be very quick and very steep. You see it right there. Everyone's on inters. The one car that isn't. My goodness, is he struggling. That's Russia 2020? When was the Russia race where Lando Norris made the same mistake?
Well, I believe, yeah, it would have been 2020,
Yeah.
I believe. Yes, absolutely right. He was in contention for the race win, but unfortunately did not pit onto the right tyres and therefore forfeited the race at that point. So there we go. And oh no, it was 2021. Spot on. Yes, indeed. F1
There we go.
So there we go. So there we go, folks. Obviously, the McLaren's still struggling. Shadow now in the pits, and will change onto a set of the intermediates, but does have 3 seconds of time penalties. He's now propping up the order as things stand. The battle for the lead, though, still rages onwards. Bushians now in front, within second place, just when Ali. Half a second is all that separates, and the intermediate tyres now gracing their presence here at this circuit of Zandvoort, but still unable to get closer here, just when Ali. Bushians doing an absolutely superb job of keeping this Haas in behind.
Yeah, it's not just that. Once again, just when Ali's still struggling on fuel, minus 4.4 laps right now is the situation for him. And oh my goodness, he's sliding around the corners. And he needs to save as much as he can. He's not doing a good enough job right now. At this point, he has to save about a third of a lap of fuel every lap in order to make it to the end. That is borderline impossible unless you want to lose about 10-15 seconds a lap, but then again that might still be better than running out of fuel and losing 20 to 30 seconds a lap. So yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point for just one Ali. He has to save as much as he can right now to at least somehow have a chance of making it to the end. And yeah, I agree with what F1 Kid is saying in the chat there. Ali, I think, as well, should just give up for the win and try to secure a second and save as much fuel as humanly possible. And right now, he's not doing that. He's absolutely not doing that. He's barely saving anything. He's saving at maximum 0.1 of a lap per lap. So 10% of fuel per lap, and that's not even close to enough.
Well, he's dropping back now from Bushians now this time. Bushians driving superbly, just when Ali could be at risk of losing more than just the win. He could end up losing the podium place here. Obviously, Alex Gillen still in third place. GB68 chasing him. Zafso being closed down by Meraki right now as they make their way around the final corner. And there you can see certainly some moves happening further up. That, of course, being some lap cars just up at the top end. Shadow just leaving the pit lane. I believe that's Maxime MXM, who is currently sat in 16th in this classification, just making way for the faster cars, as we're now seeing them make their way up through the first sector. Carbon Shadow leaving the pit lane. Past goes Meraki and Zafso as they now work their way through this first banked section and through towards the mid sector as well. And indeed, Bushians now consolidating his lead at this point, Badgerman. 1.2 seconds now. The gap is just enlarging. I think just when Ali's got the message, he knows he has to save fuel now.
Yeah, I think he finally understands the direness of the situation. And people asking in the chat, they want to pay for a safety car. That's not how this works here. All our safety cars are absolutely organic and natural. Nobody pays for safety cars here.
I'm sure if you pay Dirty Chocolate enough, you'll probably help you out.
look, we don't talk about what happened in Silverstone. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
At Silverstone.
Absolutely.
But just when Ali finally understanding the situation and how much he has to save, but he's just not saving it. I think he's running too high gears still. You can save a lot more if you just run higher gears than what he's currently doing, although he does short shift quite a lot and goes half throttle, which is again not really helping. You want to get up to full throttle and then just let the car roll through most corners. That usually does the best job. But it's something that needs to be learned. As little braking as possible, as much coasting as possible. And just what Ali, can I see? Yeah, I can see actually. Yeah, he's not been doing more than 2% of coasting every lap since the start, except for the safety car periods. That's not enough. You have to coast, I would say. Oh, we have a yellow flag. Nope, we're green again. Oh, can you imagine a safety car would be a godsend for Just One Ali right now?
It certainly would be.
Because it would save him about probably two laps of fuel at least for a 3-lap safety car. It's not enough still, but it would actually help him. He's down to -4 now, with 8 laps remaining. This is not a good idea, and he needs to coast a lot more than he's currently doing. I think he will actually fall at least down to P9, likely even further, likely much further.
Well,
But,
Alex Gillen must be wondering what's happening right now, because obviously he's watching his delta like literally cruise downwards here at this point. 9.8 seconds. Remember, that gap was nigh on 12 seconds at that point. Just when Ali has forfeited a massive 8 seconds behind Bushy Ants, and is in fact losing more and more time. He's doing his best to try and curtail it. He's definitely given up on the lead, but nevertheless, the risk elements are still there. It doesn't necessarily mean that he will finish this race at this point.
Well, he will. Will he finish is the question. Yeah. Well, he won't. I still think he won't finish with any fuel. Or he will finish with no fuel left in the car if he does finish. So he will be in the low fuel mode. The question is just how early will it kick in at this point? Because 8 laps remaining, 4 laps down, which means you have to save half a lap of fuel. You're literally 50% underfueled right now. So you have to save half the fuel every lap for 8 laps. Impossible. And if I look at his fuel right now, he is at 3.75, so he's doing half as good a job as he has to. I think it's pretty much over for Just One Ali. Let me see the coasting that he did last lap. Yeah, it's not looking good. 1.5%. You need to be at 5% at this point of coasting. He's not coasting enough. He's doing too much half throttle and not enough coasting. And I think that's the issue right there. Even in the corners, he still keeps a little bit of throttle. That's not working. That's not working. You got to be completely off the throttle if you want this to work. And yeah, he's struggling a lot right now. And it's such a slow, painful death to see. You know, him just struggling on the fuel so much here at the end. And yeah, it is, in a way, it is a Ferrari strat. I think for the next race, maybe we need to talk to Break, another F1 creator who is a former performance engineer at Red Bull. And he was, for a couple years, I think, for a couple seasons, he was in charge of the fuel in the race. So if there's an expert for Just One Ali to consult, I think Break would be the person to do just that.
Well, I tell you what, looking further back, you can see Alex Gillen. He just came into picture, and there you can see him right back there now and getting closer and closer to the back of Just One Ali. I will be honest, I can't even see him finishing at this point. It's just not coming down fast enough for Just One Ali.
No.
And still applying the throttle the way he is, he certainly almost won't finish this Grand Prix. And look at this delta time. Gillen now getting closer, 2.4 seconds now. And he will be able to see him as he now crosses over the brow through towards this next right. Very soon, it's getting closer and closer. Alex Gillen can smell blood, a potential P2 on the table. Not to mention GB68 could yet pick up a podium here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, very good question, Chad. Could Ali not even get top 10? That is definitely a possibility. Looking at the gap to P11, Razin Chai, that gap is now 33 seconds, 32 and a half between Just One Ali and Razin, and he might very well lose that time in the last 6 laps of this race.
There we go. Bushy Ant still leads the way, 16.4. He's consolidated that lead superbly. Zafso still within DRS of GB68, but no DRS now under wet conditions. But within a second, crucially enough, Meraki as well being towed along. But as we're now seeing them now, you can just see it in picture. Alex Gillen can now see the Haas struggling, just lame here at this point here on lap 67 to 72. Now commencing lap 68 of 72. 5 laps to go here in the Dutch Grand Prix, and it looks like it's evident as we're now seeing Just Ali limp his car through the circuit. Now Alex Gillen has been served. Just Ali on a plate here at this point in lap 68, running wide there. Just Ali knows he can't defend it. Down the inside now, it's going to be so easy. Alex Gillen up into second, GB68 up into third. Through goes Zafso. Meraki will surely be next as they come through the swooping curve. Meraki keen not to waste any time. Oh, he's round. He's round, yellow flag in sector 2. Just Ali, is that wing damage on the car? Surely that's insult to injury. Routanius now moves up to 6. What was a pole position start in this Dutch Grand Prix has turned into a nightmare for Just Ali.
Yeah, no damage to the car, actually. No front wing damage, no damage at all. Thankfully, he has his telemetry set to public, so I can actually see whether he does not. And yeah, very unfortunate. Down to P8 he goes now. And the last 4 laps will be even more painful. He will lose positions to Tom, to Liam, to Razin, and I think more to come potentially as well. He might, in fact, end up getting lapped after all this.
Well, just to say, folks, if you do see a moment that you like, make sure you clip it. It might feature on the highlight reel on the social media here of the F1 Creator Series. And if you haven't done so already, please let us know who your driver of the day is. Certainly
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag in Sector 1. Rutanius and Tiamat Marduk coming together. And we can see Tiamat Marduk. How has he done this? He's in the top 6.
Impressive stuff right there. I don't know what Rutanius... Is he out of fuel as well? No, surely not. Let me see real quick. Oh, he is! He is out of fuel! Oh no, that's why we have the yellow flag. He's out of fuel.
That's 2 cars out of fuel. I'm getting similar moments. If you remember Formula E at Paul Ricard, where loads of cars, nearly the whole grid, ran out of energy. It's a similar scenario now. We've got 2 cars that are running on air right now. Incredible scenes.
Running on fumes, and it's not going well. My goodness. How... Look, I'm not one to criticize my boss at Sim Racing Center, Rutanius, but I gotta say here, mate, come on. What is happening?
It's definitely
you can't be short fueling that much and run out of fuel in the race.
It's definitely
what is happening?
It's definitely up there for blooper moments of the season. It has to be said. 3 laps to go here now in the Creator Series Dutch Grand Prix. Let us know, as I said, folks. Make sure you let us know who your driver of the day is in the live chat, and we'll obviously announce the winner later on tonight. The live standing suggests that Zafso is now the leader of the Creator Series World Drivers' Championship, and he's currently on for a 4th place, but could yet get a podium as he chases after GB68 as they head through now the 1st and 2nd sector. Bushians now with a clear advantage of 20 seconds ahead of Alex Gillen here in lap 70. GB68 though still in proximity of Alex Gillen, dragging along Safso and Meraki in behind as well. Mr. Dale has just passed Rutanius as well. Surely Formula Racer will also go past his teammate too. Dirk Chocolate will also gain a place as a result. So it's all still to come. The knock-on effect as now Just Ali loses P8 to Liam as well, who moves up a spot. And as they make their way down now to commence surely lap 71, the penultimate lap here at this point, Bushy Ants now leading them through. 2 laps remain here in the Dutch Grand Prix, and it's looking good if you're Bushy Ants.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he's got a whole pit stop advantage. He could actually pit for a new set of intermediate tires right now, and he would still be 4 seconds clear, roughly, just under 4 seconds clear of Alex Gillen. So that's how far ahead he is.
Meraki down the inside now, looking to try and challenge Zafso, and they go wheel to wheel now. Out to the first corner, heading out through the first sector now, winding through this next section. Meraki just did not quite have enough to make the move, but he knows that time is running out, and an opportunity for a podium is running out as well. As they make their way through this next point, Meraki forced to wait behind the Mercedes, but a big moment here in lap 71.
Yeah, that has major championship implications because remember, Meraki won the race last week, so he has at least 25 points. And so he wants to close in on the leaders, currently live leader Safso. You know, he wants to close in. And so that was the opportunity for him there. It might not be the last opportunity, though. Just when Ale gets a 10-second penalty for getting into the pits. Yeah, once again, that will probably be removed. Not sure about that one, but he's in the pits now. Down to P14. I think that's his race pretty much over at this point. Very unfortunate. Britannia's in 15th as well. 2 cars driving around, trundling around the circuit on low fuel mode. And yeah, just went out here on 40 seconds of penalties right now. And he's going on to old hards as well.
Well, interesting moment here in this race. What we can tell you is Butch Jans now has commenced the final lap here at this point as well. As we now see the cars work their way through now, this early point, this gap now, this battle. Oh, as we're now seeing now a Haas pull across to the right-hand side, the hard tyres. That is, of course, Justin Ali, who's just made the stop. We're now seeing them make their way through. Justin Ali has been given another 10-second time penalty as a result as well. We're now watching the cars work their way through the middle sector, now the latter sector as well. Justin Ali disqualified here from this race session. He's gone from pole to disqualified, but certainly one man who will not be down in the dumps here at this point. Certainly the rain has not affected his spirit. Butch Jans, 16.3 seconds clear of Alex Gillen. He's going to come round turn 13 and turn 14, and here at the Dutch circuit of Zandvoort, it's going to be Alpine that cross the line in front. Butch Jans has won the Dutch Grand Prix here in the Creator Series, and he's done it in superb style. Alex Gillen leading a train of cars, 3 cars in behind him, including GB68, Sasso and Meraki as well. But on debut here in this Creator Series, a podium in his hands, Alex Gillen comes home in 2nd place, GB68 in 3rd, Sasso in 4th, Meraki finishes in 5th.
And that means we have our 5th winner in the 5th race of the Creator Series. Butch Jans adding his name to the list of drivers that have won a Creator Series race. Still, no one has done it twice. Who will be the first one to do it? We might find out next week. We might find out the week after that. We might find out next season, really. At some point, surely someone's going to have to win 2 races. Are we just going to cycle through all potential creators, or, I mean, at some point, all 8 billion humans on Earth to just never have a repeat winner?
Well, you never know. I mean, like I said, this is a very, very strange series. Obviously, the Creator Series, anything can happen. You know, it's not all simple. But as we're now seeing, Curbs picks up a 5-second time penalty as well. But a massive well done to Butch Jans, taking his first win of the season, 5th different winner in this championship. We're running out of races now for someone to get a second win. And, you know, plenty of others that could potentially get a win as well. Safety car, according to my screen now as well. That is extraordinary. Race is over, and we have a safety car.
Causing it. Hayden Gullis causing it. Unbelievable.
A safety car late on here at the
Oh,
Dutch
no,
Grand
it's not
Prix.
Hayden. Hold on. That's Tom. Tom spun across the line, crashed the car, and now the safety car's coming out.
Well, a wonderful result as well if you're Tiamat Marduk, 6th place. And actually, I have to tell you, incredible job as well. Started 11th, managed to get himself into the top 10, but not only that, getting some really good points in 6th as well. Dirk Chocolate, best performance of the season, finishing in 10th spot as well. So credit to Dirk. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that, but it's absolute shock and surprise here because the safety car is out at the end of the race. I don't think I've ever seen that before in a series
I haven't
race.
either. The game always surprises me every time with something new that I've never seen before in this game. It's wonderful. I think Hayden Gullis is actually bugged out, so he's going to have to leave the lobby because I think his car is actually fully bugged out and maybe even desynced. So yeah, we're going to be stuck in this screen until he does. So yeah, I think we won't. There we go. Sorted out. Wonderful.
Well, there we go. I mean, at the end of the day, plaudits to those who finished on the podium. Alex Gillen in his first appearance, 2nd place. Wonderful effort, certainly from him. Tiamat Marduk, according to the game, picks up driver of the day. Let us know who your driver of the day was as well, folks. Let us know in the live chat. But amazing scene, certainly, to say the least. What an incredible performance from Butch Jans, and claims his first win of the season. And Alpine obviously looked good. I think Tom as well finished strong. Big thank you to Carbon Shadow for the raid as well. Butch Jans is your winner here at Zandvoort. The Dutch Grand Prix falls to the feet of Alpine, and he'll lift the trophy aloft. Our 5th different winner of the Creator Series Championship. Many more to come for sure as the champagne gets sprayed. A wonderful performance. Alex Gillen taking 2nd place on debut here in his first appearance in the Creator Series. How about that? That's not a bad place to start at all. And I'm sure there'll be many more big results for him. And give credit to GB68 after the sadness of Belgium, where it looked like he was down and out after that incident with Melanie heading through Les Combes. He is back and has taken a podium here in this championship too. Zafso finished 4th. Meraki, after winning last time out, finished 5th on this occasion. Timit Marduk, what a recovery drive. 6th fastest here in this classification. Liam in 7th, Rasin Chai in 8th. Formula Racers gets a top 10 as well. Dirk Chocolate in 10th, Tom in 11th. Mr. Dale finishes the race and does not crash out. I have to say, he's gone past 5 laps. You've gone past 5 laps, Dale. Incredible indeed. Curbs getting 13th. Rutanius, after running out of fuel, finished in 14th, of course. Technically a DNF. Maxime finishing 15th. Hayden Gullis 16th. Carbon Shadow 17th. Infratic 18th after DNFing as well earlier on. Alex Budd also DNFing just when Ali disqualified after starting on pole as well. But there you go. Race over. Has to be said, Badgerman. Entertaining for a different reason, I think I'd say.
Certainly lots of drama to be had. Just when Ali running out of fuel, Rutanius running out of fuel. 2 of the very best that we have in this grid. I mean, Rutanius has been so close to winning so many times. And at the end of it, you know, all he has to show for is 1 pole position and 1 second place that he's had so far. But he's been up there for a long, long time. And just when Ali, obviously, 2 second places and a 3rd place so far. He hasn't actually won a race. That continues, obviously. But still, 3 podiums. No one else has more than... Like, Safso has 2. Everyone else has 1 or 0. So, certainly, well, GB68 now has 2 as well. We have to add. But... unbelievable. 2 of the best drivers that we have on the grid, both running out of fuel, falling out of the points after running in, I think, what was a P2, and Britannia's was like P5 or so. Unbelievable scenes. And then we have another winner, Bushy Ants, who had this, I remember this horrendous moment in Baku where he was just a passenger, was unfortunately crashed out unintentionally by Rutanius, who lost the rear of his car on the exit of turn 1, and then Bushy just ended up in the wall. He had good chances to win that race as well at the time, and finally he gets it done, gets his win, and wonderful to see. And you mentioned driver of the day. The game says Tiamat Marduk. I think it's between Tiamat Marduk and Formula Racers, personally. What Formula Racers has done, starting in P16, bottled qualifying quite harshly, then had to pit after lap 1, fell down to last, 20 seconds down on anyone else, and finishing in P9 with points. That's impressive. Very, very impressive indeed. Great comeback drive from Formula Racers. And yeah, P9 doesn't look impressive, but if you go through that kind of a race, I think you can be pretty happy with yourself.
Definitely. Big thank you as well to Zafso for the raid as well, folks. We are going to hear from Jorrit van Geffen as well. Jan van Geffen, who, of course, known as Rutanius as well, folks. So we will drag him in for a quick word as well, as soon as I can get my mouse to work properly. At the moment, it's decided that it wants to turn itself off, so that's interesting. But obviously, a word on Rutanius. He's going to be disappointed, isn't he, after running out of fuel, I think, through that race, because naturally, you know, when you're someone like him who has been so close to getting the big results, naturally, it's a little bit... It probably hurts, doesn't it? That you're not getting the results you want at this point.
I think it's not just that. It's also the fact that, you know, he's the boss of SRC, of Sim Racing Center, a platform that offers not just setups but also engineering. He has done engineering in the past before for Hayden Gullis. He's done engineering before for Thibaut Courtois, Real Madrid goalkeeper, and you know, to do that, run out of fuel, which is sort of one of the most basic things, generally speaking, I think that's gonna hurt him on a personal level.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to hear from Rutanius now, so we're going to head across to our interview screen and join Rutanius now here in the commentary box. I don't know what to say. It's a pretty tough day in the office for you, my friend. The first time I think we've seen fuel run out, I think, here at Zandvoort. The most bizarre thing as well, never seen a safety car at the end of a race before either.
That was crazy. That safety car surprised me loads. Yeah, not gonna lie, I was pretty happy with how all went in the race. The driving was pretty good. I was playing a bit more passive role this race, and just putting myself in a position to get lucky. Although the luck never came.
No, it's certainly seemed that way. But you started well because you qualified second row of the grid. And you look to have a promising start. Obviously things happen during the race, as they always do in the Creator Series. But it's the same old story. You look like you're getting close, and something happens towards the end.
Yeah, so defueling has become a standard thing now in the Creator Series, and Zandvoort is the actual only track we've done so far where the car actually consumes fuel instead of give it back, and there weren't as much safety cars as we're used to. So Ale and me both ran out of fuel at the end there, even though I was pretty happy about how I drove that race in terms of pace and consistency and stuff. But, you know, it's all right. It is what it is. We live and we learn. And maybe I should test how much fuel to take next time instead of just dumping it.
Well, that might be a smart option. You weren't the only one, though, because obviously we did see that just when Ali had the same problem. But obviously, looking ahead, we've got another round coming up. China is next on the list.
Ooh.
Obviously, it doesn't necessarily feature on the F1 calendar now these days, but
True.
it's on the Creator Series calendar, which I suppose makes it unique. So thoughts on heading to the Chinese Grand Prix next week?
Well, it's a track I haven't driven in a while because obviously it hasn't been used in leagues and stuff. But the last time it went pretty well. I think China is a track that kind of suits me. I like those turns it has. And I do like tracks with those tight and twisty turns that China does tend to have. You know, you got that hairpin. It's an all-round good track with loads of corners, but also a massive straight, which makes it very interesting for people to see what kind of wings they're going to be running on the race in China. So, yeah, I'm looking forward. Going to put in some more time. Unfortunately, due to unavailability, I couldn't really put in much practice this week, but we'll see. We'll see next time, and who knows what happens. Anything can happen in the Creator Series. Maybe I can still get a win or a podium. I hope I can do something like that.
Well, you're absolutely spot on. Hopefully we'll see you up at the top end, but congratulations on a reasonable drive anyway, up until the end. We'll just brush that under the carpet for the time being.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Well done, Rutanius. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you go, folks. That is Rutanius. Obviously, fresh after that incident, obviously towards the end where he would run out of fuel. Obviously, heartbreak for him. We do, however, have our race winner with us as well. Bushy Ants joins us in the commentary box. Bushy, a very well-controlled race. You delivered, basically, on the day. Great day for Alpine as well at Zandvoort. You were clear towards the end. No one could touch you.
Yeah, I mean, Alpine had a good day until Tom pitted on the final lap. So that was a massive L. I don't know why he did that. But yeah, strategy, I was getting a little bit nervous towards, I want to say, the late 50s, just because the mediums were starting to get like really worn. I think I was pushing 70%, and then the rain hit. I was like, thank God. Ruta said during the race that the rain would take roughly about 4 or 5 laps to come through, but then it pretty much instantly hit and was putting on the medium. So that was just a blessing in disguise for me. And yeah, on the mediums, just kept pushing. Arle, he was down a lot in terms of fuel. I think he was down -4, so he had to do a lot of saving, which just allowed me to pull away. And yeah, pretty good race.
Well, seeing as Tom is your teammate and he made that mistake, I'm going to bring him into this chat too. So let's talk to Tom as well. So we brought Tom in. Tom, how are you? Your teammate has made some comments about your performance in that race.
Were they good?
Well, we've heard rumours that there was an unnecessary pit stop before the end of the race. We just want to hear as to why that reasoning is.
To be fair, I don't really want to talk about it, because for some reason, every single time in the last few laps, something breaks in my mind and I do something crazy. Literally, I lost the car in like the second to last lap, but I thought we had like 10 laps to go or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, I need to pit because I have no front wing. So the instinct is to go into the pits, but I went into the pits in lap 72 out of 72. I had like 29 seconds behind of me, a driver. And I came out 4 tenths behind of P10.
Goodness me.
And I tried to overtake, and then you saw
A small
happened.
oversight
I had 3
then.
wheels over the line.
A small oversight is what you're saying at this point.
But the thing is, the race was going so well at the front, right? I got all the airtime in P3, P2, shabam shaboom, overtaking everyone. And then at the end, we do the classic Tom once again. I can't believe it.
The classic Tom
Don't worry,
bottle job.
don't worry, Tom. I'll carry you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah, just a word on that, by the way. I mean, Tom, have you got any comments about your teammates' performance? Bushy Ants dominated out there tonight.
Look, if I didn't have him, I think Alpine would have still been not even on the standings, I think. So
Yeah, we're like P23 in a 20-person championship.
Exactly. I have a full-time seat, but I'm not even on the top 20 sheet, so I don't think that's a very good omen.
Yeah.
But I told him straight away after the race, like, I mean, I'm sorry, you know, like, next time I'll be there. But I said that last time as well, so, you know.
Well, you've heard it here first, folks. Bushy Ants, the new Alpine Esports ambassador. Tom has been fired. There we go.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Alpine ambassador this week, McLaren content creator next week. I'm calm. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're everywhere, Bushy. You're everywhere. Obviously now, guys, we're both heading, we're all heading to China next week, which is obviously a very different circuit to what we've just faced now at this point. A lot wider. Opportunities for overtaking, I'd say, is better. I would say if you consider the long straight, and then you've got the hairpin at the bottom in the final sector. What are your thoughts heading over to China?
For me, I'm pretty happy with China. The last couple of games, China's been my favorite track to lots of people's disbelief. So yeah, I'm pretty confident for China.
Yeah, yourself, Tom?
I'm even more confident. We're going to be 1-2. Bushy 1, me 2, maybe half a minute behind or something, but still 1-2. You know, I'm going to keep everybody. To be fair, we did some good team games actually.
You did.
We did.
You did
We
do
did.
some good team games. I did actually
we were
comment
smart
it.
about
I think Badgerman, you saw it as well. There was a moment where, of course, Bushy, I believe, was on the faster compound attire at that point. You did let him through, played the team game so he could attack GB68. So I thought, yeah, it's a very smart Alpine play there. Has to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep it
Yeah,
up.
GG's to everyone, especially to Alex as well. You two on a debut. And
Yeah,
then
it
GB
is
as
very well.
GG's.
Yeah, massive result certainly for Alex Gillen as well, and we look forward to seeing him back in the Creator Series too. Have you got any comments to the viewers watching at home as well?
Just stay tuned with Alpine because me and Tom are about to shock the world.
Yes, sir. Come on, give it to us. Come on.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Alpine. Well done, Bushy, on a tremendous first
Thank
win.
you.
Our 5th different winner this season. Incredible scenes. We wish you all the best. Best of luck in China next week too.
Appreciate it. Bye,
Well
guys.
done, Bushy.
Yeah, and well done, Tom. Congratulations, my friend.
What do you mean, well done?
Well, you finished the race this time, at least.
Oh,
To be fair,
congratulations to Mr. Dale as well for finishing.
Yes, we did. We
Yeah.
actually mentioned that he did make it to the end, so that was impressive from Mr. Dale. So claps for Mr. Dale there. Well done, my friend. But yes, well done. We will be bringing in GB68 as well because, of course, he also managed to scoop up a podium on this day as well. He's joining us in the commentary box. GB, welcome to the commentary box. Incredible result for yourself. Bouncing back after a difficult trip to Belgium. You return from Spa and you excel. You get a podium, 3rd place in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, I think you summed it up right there, George, that Spa was one to forget. So I was happy to deliver a decent race. I think it was just carnage at the end, and obviously it was anyone's podium with how close the gaps were to Safso and Meraki as well behind. So yeah, all in all, it was a solid drive. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, you were in the toughest fight because there was a lot going on where you were. You, of course, had Alex Gillen in front of you, not to mention Zafso was in behind and others as well. Meraki, who, of course, won last week as well, so we know he's fast and we know how quick he can be. So it was a real tight and difficult race, I suppose, to manage, and you were pretty much in the, shall I say, in the shark end, really, in terms of where you were on track. So, I mean, how tough did it get towards the end with the intermediate tyres on the car?
Oh, it was so tough. I'm covered in sweat at the moment. I mean, it wasn't too bad. They all raced at the end. The gaps were close, and we were kind of, just managing the pace. But when the rain fell, I don't know whether it's a thing with the physics model on F1, but depending on what rig you're running, geez, the force feedback is intense. So it's definitely gets the sweat flowing, and you could probably see it when you guys were following us along. There were every kind of lap or so was a little tweak from Alex in front or from me. There were a few random mistakes, and it kind of was just making it a real kind of toss up at the end to who was going to finish where. But yeah, hard work.
Yeah, and obviously now I've been asking the other guys. Alpine are particularly looking forward to China next week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know that. I think that's Ant's favorite track. So yeah, I guess the warning signs are there. The fact that he finished, what was it, like 20 seconds ahead. So yeah, I think Alpine are going to be looking strong. But maybe with Tom causing a few more broken front wings, who knows?
And maybe a little bit more help from your teammate as well, I presume.
Oh yeah, come on. We gotta get Big Guns Gullish back in the fight. We need two Aston Martins at the front. Come on.
Yeah, not propping up the field, that's for sure. But yes, incredible result. Well done to yourself, GB, and we wish you all the very best when we head to China next week.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, my friend. Take it easy. Obviously, a very, very happy GB there, Badgerman. We've also got another guest as well. Benjamin Daly is going to join us in the commentary box too. And Ben, welcome to the commentary box. I saw you there spying, waiting in the waiting room there. A great drive from yourself. Started 11th place, finishing P6, and you had a bit of a recovery mission on your hands due to a bit of an early incident, didn't you?
Yeah, I hope you didn't see it on camera.
We didn't catch the incident itself, but we caught you dropping through the classification, to be truthful.
Yeah, I had a bit of a brain fart.
Oh no.
I was on hards, and I think I was defending against Dale, and I didn't want him to get ahead, so I kind of chopped his nose off a little bit on the start finish straight, and I got my own comeuppance there.
Oh,
so had to fight my way back through. And then safety car came out, and I was like just chilling behind Dirk, and I think I was way too patient, and I was waiting for a safety car that never came, so I gave up a lot of time just waiting for a safety car, waiting for Dirk and those guys in that train to sort each other out, and yeah, that was the race. I think I had a pretty good pace, but yeah. Just lost a lot of time in the midpoint of the race.
It looked like a difficult race to manage. I think a couple of drivers, got the fuel a little bit wrong. There was a couple of drivers who ended up underfueling the car to the point where they pretty much their races were over towards the end. And of course, then we had the strategy test where the rain came down. All of a sudden, cars were jumping onto intermediate tyres, things of that nature. You seem to manage that quite well, though. I'd say that's probably down to your experience utilising the F1 games. I mean, were you pleased with how the drive went? I think you can only take positives, really, from a performance such as that, surely.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the strategy, with the drive. I went on hards early just to save good tyres for the end. I wasn't too greedy on the fuel this week. I feel like I was a bit of the trendsetter for going minimum fuel the last few weeks, and thankfully this time
everyone else wanting to try it.
Yeah, this week I only went like one lap under, and yeah, we got really lucky with that. So pace was good, consistency was good. I felt like I had the pace of the leaders, but yeah, like I said, I lost the time in the midpoint of the race and was praying for a safety car or for those guys to bottle, but it never happened. So they drove really well. Fair play to them.
And a trip to China next week. I've been asking the other guys. Alpine seem very confident. And I'm going to say this as well. I'm just going to air it out in public. Alex Gillen, P2 on debut. What can you say to that?
He's put me in the mud, to be honest. beginner's luck. Maybe he should have won. He was pretty quick in quali.
He was.
But yeah, the train driver this week. Let's see what he can bring next week if he turns up. Looking forward to it. China is one of those tracks I haven't driven since like F1 2019, so could be a bit of a lottery next week. Should be spicy.
So we don't know what to expect from Ben Daly next week then?
No, not at all. I could be P1, I could be P last. So yeah, flip a coin and we'll see where we end up.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing how it turns up anyway. So we'll see what happens next week. But thank you ever so much. Well done today. Great race, good points, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week, guys. Take care.
One. Take care, Ben. Thank you ever so much. Well, there you have it, Badgerman. After what has to be said, a confident view from Ben Daly after a performance that took him from 11th up to 6th place. Points scored, good points scored as well. But I don't think anyone can really rival, I think, the joy of the Alpine team. They certainly look very, very happy. Obviously, Tom made that crucial error towards the end, boxing the way he did. But they seem very confident with China around the corner.
Yeah, we heard GB even saying that it's Ant's favorite track, so it makes sense that he's very confident. You have a win. Next track is your favorite circuit. Of course, you're gonna be absolutely on a high. The question is just, with how crazy these races generally have been, will it turn out the way he wants it to turn out? He might very well end up being the first repeat winner of the Creator Series, but everything needs to go right because competition is tight.
And speaking of everything must go right, obviously Rutanius and Just Ali would be looking at themselves and saying, look, maybe we won't try the underfueling strategy like that again. Maybe we're up for something different. They certainly did brave it. Unfortunately, it wasn't the smartest choice in the end, was it?
Yeah, if they had asked me how much fuel to put in, I could have told them that Zandvoort is one of those circuits, because I know it from doing 5-lappers around Zandvoort that you actually lose. There was actually an issue, I think, either this game or last game, 2021, where if you do a 5-lapper, you barely have enough fuel, even though it's overfueled by like a lap. You barely have enough fuel to make it to the end. It was actually quite wild how miscalculated Zandvoort is in terms of fuel on the game. So you have to overfuel, generally speaking, in order to make it. Maybe underfuel by like a lap maximum, but then you have to save a lot and hope for a safety car or two, as we had. So, you know, I could have given them that point, but, you know, nobody asks me. Other than you, of course. And,
well, it's no good me asking because, of course, I'm not driving. So.
Yeah, exactly. You just asked so I can explain to the viewers.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Which,
of course I do.
Yeah,
that's our job.
But yeah, exactly. But you know, it's something that if you have a lot of experience of the game, this is something that you have to keep in the back of your mind if you just pay attention to how how things go. And clearly, either they didn't notice, or forgot about it, that Zandvoort is very tricky on fuel. Generally, next week at China, they shouldn't have that issue.
No, well, we will, of course, look forward to China coming round the corner, of course, next week, folks, so do not miss it. And if you're watching this, big thank you to all the viewers who have tuned in to the Creator Series. We really do appreciate all your support, all the creators who do so much unbelievable work on the Formula One game for your entertainment and for our entertainment too. We, of course, enjoy watching it. We hope you have as well. If you have enjoyed it, should I say, please leave a follow. Make sure as well you check out the socials, F1 Creator Series on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well. Lots of highlights on there, folks, updates, news, you name it, it's all on there. You can check out the Discord as well. Links are also provided. Make sure you check that out too. You can join the community, find out when we go live, of course. Great excuse for the follow button as well if you want to find out when we go live, because you'll get notified when we do, of course. My name is, of course, George Morgan. You can check me out as well on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at George Morgan TV. Badgerman, please share your socials if you please.
Yeah, so you can find me at Badgerman TV on Twitter and, of course, at Badgerman here on Twitch as well.
There you go, folks. You can check him out there. Of course, big thank you to all our sponsors as well and partners. Of course, Sim Racing Centre and Grid Finder, both of them superb partners here of the Creator Series. Make sure you check those guys out too. They do some superb work for the league racing scene and also the sim racing scene as a whole. And we appreciate their support as always. But folks, it's been a pleasure. Today, it was Bush Jans in an Alpine story here at the Dutch Grand Prix. But we go to China next week. Will it be the same thing? We'll have to wait and see. Goodbye. Take care.